What if Luke was raised by Anakin and Padmé? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. One choice, one moment, one word that changes everything. Mustafar burns around them. Anakin Skywalker stands over Obi-Wan Kenobi, his lightsaber raised for the killing blow. His eyes are yellow with the dark side. His former master is defeated, broken. One strike and it's over. But then she speaks. Padmé, his wife, carrying his children, and everything stops. What if Anakin didn't fall? What if love saved him before it was too late? What if Luke and Leia grew up with both parents, trained by a redeemed Jedi, and faced an empire with their family united? This is that story. The lava flows of Mustafar cast an orange glow across the charred landing platform. Rivers of molten rock carve through the black volcanic stone, sending plumes of ash and sulfur into the blood-red sky. The heat is suffocating, oppressive, like the dark side itself has manifested in this hellish landscape. Anakin Skywalker stands over Obi-Wan Kenobi's fallen body, his lightsaber humming with deadly intent. His eyes burn yellow, the corruption of the dark side evident in every line of his face. Sweat and ash mix on his skin, and his breathing comes in ragged gasps, not from exertion, but from the war raging inside him. The blade hovers inches from Obi-Wan's throat. One movement, one choice, and his former master, his brother, will be dead. You were my brother, Anakin. Obi-Wan's voice is weak, broken. I loved you. The words cut deeper than any lightsaber ever could. Anakin's hand trembles. Images flash through his mind. Training in the Jedi Temple, laughing with Obi-Wan during the Clone Wars. Padmé's smile, her voice. The dream that started all of this. The dream of her dying in childbirth, screaming his name as life left her eyes. I had to. You don't understand. I had to save her. By becoming this? By slaughtering younglings? By betraying everything you believed in? Obi-Wan coughs, blood flecking his lips. This isn't salvation, Anakin. This is damnation. The yellow in Anakin's eyes flickers. For just a moment, blue returns. The memory surfaces unbidden. Hours ago, in the Jedi Temple, surrounded by the bodies of children, their fear, their confusion. Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? The little Padawan's voice haunts him. There are too many of them. What are we going to do? And Anakin had ignited his lightsaber. No. The word escapes his lips as a whisper. No, I did what I had to. For Padmé, for our future. What future? Palpatine has twisted you into his weapon. Can't you see that? Anakin. The voice cuts through the chaos in his mind like a beacon. He turns. Padmé stands at the ramp of her ship, heavily pregnant, her face streaked with tears. The sight of her stops his heart. She's here. She's real. Not the vision of her dying, but alive, breathing, reaching out to him. Please, don't do this. I can't watch you become this. Her hand rests on her swollen belly. Our children need their father. Not this. Not a monster. Children, plural. The word registers slowly. Anakin's lightsaber lowers an inch. Master Yoda said the Force was strong in the child. But children? Twins. The medical droid confirmed it. 2 babies, Anakin. a boy and a girl, and they need you, the real you, not whatever Palpatine has made you into. The yellow flickers again, stronger now. Anakin looks down at Obi-Wan, then at his own hands. They're covered in blood, not his own. The weight of what he's done crashes over him like a tidal wave. The younglings, the Jedi, Mace Windu. He can still see the purple lightsaber falling from the shattered window. Still hear Palpatine's laughter. What have I done? The lightsaber deactivates. The red blade vanishes, leaving only the orange glow of the lava. Anakin drops to his knees, the weapon falling from his grip. What have I become? Padmé rushes to him, her arms wrapping around his trembling form. Obi-Wan struggles to sit up, his hand pressed against the wound in his side. We don't have time for this. Palpatine will be sending reinforcements. The clones. Order 66. Every Jedi in the galaxy is being hunted right now. We need to leave. Now. Anakin helps his former master to his feet, supporting his weight. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Obi-Wan. I thought I was saving her. I thought I was doing the right thing. Save your apologies. Obi-Wan winces, but manages to meet Anakin's eyes. If you mean them, truly mean them, then prove it. Help us stop him. Help us save what's left of the Order. Can it be saved? After what I've done? Perhaps not. But we can try. That's all we've ever been able to do. The three of them board Padmé's ship as the volcano rumbles ominously around them. Through the viewport, they can see Imperial shuttles approaching in the distance. Clone troopers, once their brothers in arms, now hunting them as traitors. Padmé's pilot, Captain Typho, guns the engines. We need coordinates. Where are we going? Polis Massa, Obi-Wan says. There's a medical facility there, hidden. We can treat our wounds and regroup. As the ship lifts off, Anakin takes one last look at Mustafar, the place where Darth Vader was supposed to be born. The place where, instead, Anakin Skywalker chose to live. But even as they escape into the stars, he knows the consequences of his actions will follow them. The Empire is rising, the Jedi are falling, and he is responsible for all of it. The journey to Polis Massa is tense and silent. Anakin sits in the cockpit, staring at his hands. He can still feel the darkness clinging to him, whispering promises of power, urging him to finish what he started. But every time it speaks, he thinks of Padmé, of the children growing inside her, of the future that's still possible if he can just hold on. Obi-Wan meditates in the cargo hold, using the Force to slow his bleeding and begin the healing process. His connection to the Force is strained, weakened by the betrayal and the pain. But it's still there, still a light in the darkness. Padmé stays close to Anakin, her hand resting on his shoulder. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her presence is enough to anchor him, to remind him why he turned back. Hours pass. The ship emerges from hyperspace above a barren asteroid field. Polis Massa hangs among the rocks, a small facility clinging to the surface of the largest asteroid. It's remote, forgotten, perfect for hiding. The medical droids greet them as they land, their sensors immediately detecting Padmé's condition. She is taken to a birthing suite while Obi-Wan is ushered to a surgical bay. Anakin tries to follow Padmé, but she stops him. Go to Obi-Wan. Make sure he's all right. You owe him that much. But you need me. I'll be fine. The droids will take care of me. Go. He hesitates, then nods. In the surgical bay, Obi-Wan lies on a table as a medical droid seals the lightsaber wound in his side. The Jedi Master's face is pale, his breathing shallow. Anakin stands in the doorway, unable to move closer. How many times have we been here? Obi-Wan's voice is weak, but steady. You, injured. Me, waiting. Or the other way around. This time is different. This time, I'm the one who hurt you. Obi-Wan's eyes open, meeting Anakin's. Yes, you did. And I'm still here. Why? After everything I've done, why didn't you kill me? Because you're my brother, Anakin. And brothers don't give up on each other, even when they should. The words break something inside Anakin. He moves to Obi-Wan's side, kneeling beside the table. I killed them. The younglings. The Jedi. I killed them all because I thought it would save Padmé. I thought Palpatine could teach me to stop her from dying. And now? Now I don't know. I don't know if I can ever make this right. You can't. What's done is done. But you can choose what you do next. That's all any of us can do. Before Anakin can respond, an alarm blares through the facility. Padmé. He runs. The birthing suite is chaos. Droids move frantically around the bed where Padmé lies, her face contorted in pain. She's losing her will to live. One droid announces in its mechanical monotone, medically, she's completely healthy. But for reasons we can't explain, we're losing her. No. Anakin rushes to her side, taking her hand. Padmé, stay with me. You have to stay. The babies, our children, you have to meet them. Padmé's eyes flutter open. Her grip on his hand is weak. Anakin, there's still good in you. I know it. I can feel it. Don't let the darkness win. The medical droids work quickly. Within minutes, 2 cries fill the room. A boy and a girl, healthy and strong. The droid places them in Anakin's arms, and for the first time since Mustafar, he feels something other than darkness. He feels hope. Padmé smiles weakly, reaching out to touch each baby's face. Luke and Leia, their names. Anakin nods, tears streaming down his face. Luke and Leia, our children. Promise me. Padmé's voice is fading. Promise me you'll protect them, that you'll raise them in the light. I promise. I swear it. I'll be the father they deserve. The man you deserve. Her hand falls from his. No. Padmé. Padmé. Please. But the medical droids are already moving. Their scanners detecting the problem. She's stabilizing. One announces, the will to live is returning. She'll survive. The relief is so overwhelming that Anakin nearly collapses. Obi-Wan appears in the doorway, leaning heavily on a cane. He sees the babies in Anakin's arms and manages a small smile. A new hope for all of us. But the moment is shattered by another alarm. Ships approaching, multiple contacts, Imperial signatures. Palpatine. Obi-Wan's face hardens. He found us faster than I thought possible. We need to leave. Now. But Padmé can't be moved yet. The droids protest. The stress could kill her. Then we make our stand here. Anakin hands the babies to a medical droid. Keep them safe, no matter what happens. He ignites his lightsaber, the blue blade humming to life. Obi-Wan does the same. Outside, through the viewport, they can see Imperial shuttles landing. Clone troopers pour out, their white armor gleaming under the asteroid's harsh lights. And leading them, a figure in a dark cloak. But it's not Palpatine. It's someone else. Someone new. The figure ignites a red lightsaber. Through the Force, Anakin can feel the darkness radiating from him. But it's not natural. It's manufactured. Forced. Who is that? Obi-Wan asks. I don't know. But we're about to find out. The blast doors open. The figure steps inside, flanked by clone troopers. When he removes his hood, Anakin's blood runs cold. It's him, or rather, a twisted version of him. The face is Anakin's, but scarred and burned. The eyes are yellow, but empty, lifeless. A clone. Obi-Wan breathes. Palpatine made a clone of you. I am Vader. The figure's voice is mechanical, distorted. The Emperor's will made flesh. I am what you should have been. Anakin Skywalker. The Emperor's greatest weapon. Surrender, and your deaths will be quick. Anakin steps forward, positioning himself between Vader and the birthing suite. Over my dead body. That can be arranged. Vader charges. The two Anakins clash, their lightsabers meeting in a shower of sparks. The clone is fast, aggressive, using the exact same fighting style that Anakin once favored. But there's no creativity, no adaptation, just raw power and brutality. Obi-Wan engages the clone troopers, his defensive form perfectly suited for holding off multiple attackers. His lightsaber moves in precise arcs, deflecting blaster bolts back at the troopers. One by one, they fall. Anakin and Vader's duel moves through the facility. They crash through doorways, their blades carving through metal and stone. You're nothing but a shadow. Anakin snarls. A copy. Palpatine's puppet. And you are a traitor. Vader's strikes come faster. The Emperor offered you everything. Power, immortality, the strength to save those you love. And you threw it away. For what? For weakness? For sentiment? For love? Anakin parries a strike and counters with a force push that sends Vader stumbling. Something you'll never understand. Love makes me stronger than you'll ever be. The duel continues. Brutal and exhausting. Both fighters are evenly matched in skill, but Anakin has something Vader doesn't. Purpose. Every strike, every parry is fueled by the memory of Padmé's smile, of the baby's cries, of the promise he made. Obi-Wan finishes the last clone trooper and joins the fight. Together, they overwhelm Vader. The clone fights desperately, but against two skilled Jedi, he doesn't stand a chance. Anakin's lightsaber slashes across Vader's chest. Obi-Wan's blade cuts through his arm. The red lightsaber falls from mechanical fingers. Vader drops to his knees, sparks flying from his damaged body. The Emperor will make more of me. You cannot win. Maybe, but we can try. Anakin drives his blade through Vader's heart. The clone shudders and falls still. In the aftermath, silence falls over Polis Massa. The facility is damaged, bodies littering the floors, but they're alive, all of them. Padmé has recovered enough to be moved. The medical droids prepare her for transport, while Anakin holds the twins. Obi-Wan stands watch at the viewport, his eyes scanning for more Imperial ships. This is just the beginning. Palpatine won't stop. He'll hunt us to the ends of the galaxy. Then we disappear. Anakin's voice is firm. We find somewhere he'll never think to look. Somewhere we can raise Luke and Leia in peace. And where would that be? Home. Padmé's voice is weak, but certain. Naboo, the lake country. There are estates there, abandoned and forgotten. We can hide there, start over. Obi-Wan considers this. It's risky. Naboo is your homeworld, Padmé. He'll look there eventually. Then we make sure he has no reason to. We disappear completely. No communications. No contact with the outside galaxy. Just us and the children. Obi-Wan nods slowly. I'll stay nearby, in case you need me, but I'll keep my distance. The less connection we have, the better. As they prepare the ship for departure, Anakin takes one last look at the fallen Vader, a twisted reflection of what he almost became. He makes a silent vow. No matter what happens, no matter how hard it gets, he'll never let the darkness win. Not again. The ship emerges from hyperspace above Naboo. The planet hangs in the void like a jewel, its blue oceans and green continents a stark contrast to the darkness they've just escaped. For Padmé, it's a homecoming. For Anakin, it's a chance at redemption. The lake country is just as beautiful as Padmé remembered. Rolling hills covered in wildflowers, crystal-clear lakes reflecting the sky, and nestled in a secluded valley surrounded by mountains and water is the villa. It belonged to Padmé's grandmother's family, abandoned after her death. No one has lived here in decades. It's perfect. They land in the overgrown courtyard. Vines have claimed the walls, and flowers bloom through cracks in the stone. Inside, dust covers everything, but the structure is sound. With some work, it could be a home. Obi-Wan helps them unload supplies, his movements still stiff from his injuries. I'll take the cottage across the lake. That way, I'm close if you need me, but far enough that I won't draw attention. Thank you, Obi-Wan. Padmé embraces him. For everything. The Jedi Master returns the hug, then looks at Anakin. This is your chance. Don't waste it. I won't. I promise. As Obi-Wan's ship lifts off toward the distant cottage, Anakin and Padmé stand together, holding their children. The future is uncertain. The Empire is rising. The Jedi are scattered or dead. But here, in this moment, they have peace. Weeks turn into months. The villa slowly transforms from a ruin into a home. Anakin uses his mechanical skills to repair the old generators and water systems. Padmé tends to the garden, growing vegetables and herbs. And the twins grow stronger each day. By the time they're 3 months old, Anakin can already sense the Force in them. It's strong, undeniable. Luke's presence is like a sun, bright and warm. Leia's is more focused, sharper. Together, they're extraordinary. But Anakin is careful. He doesn't push them, doesn't try to train them too early. For now, they're just children. His children. And that's enough. The galaxy, however, doesn't share their peace. News filters in through Padmé's old contacts. The Empire is consolidating power. Palpatine has declared himself emperor, dissolving the Senate and ruling with an iron fist. Systems that resist are crushed without mercy. The Jedi are being hunted to extinction. Obi-Wan visits occasionally, bringing news and supplies. Each time, his face grows grimmer. The Inquisitorius has been formed. Jedi hunters, twisted by the dark side. They're scouring the galaxy for survivors. How many are left? Anakin asks. Not many. A handful, maybe. Most went into hiding or died fighting. And the clones? Still serving the Empire. The inhibitor chips ensure their loyalty. Some have resisted, but not many. The weight of guilt never leaves Anakin. At night, he dreams of the temple, of the younglings, of the choice he made. But each morning, he wakes to Luke and Leia's laughter, and the guilt becomes bearable. He's not the man he was. He can never undo what he did, but he can be better. He can raise his children to be the heroes the galaxy needs. Years pass. Luke and Leia turn 3, then 5, then 8. They're inseparable, two halves of the same whole. Luke is curious and adventurous, always taking things apart to see how they work. Leia is thoughtful and diplomatic, able to talk her way out of any trouble Luke gets them into. Anakin begins their training when they turn 8. Not Jedi training exactly. Something different. Something balanced. He teaches them lightsaber forms in the clearing behind the villa, using wooden practice sabers at first. Luke takes to it naturally, his movements fluid and instinctive. Leia is more deliberate, studying each form carefully before attempting it. Remember, the Force flows through all living things. Anakin demonstrates a simple kata. It's not about suppressing what you feel, it's about understanding it, channeling it. The Jedi taught that emotion was the enemy, but they were wrong. Emotion is part of being alive. It's how we use it that matters. Luke lunges forward with his practice saber, his strikes aggressive but controlled. Leia circles around, looking for an opening. She's more patient, more calculating. When she strikes, it's precise. Their sparring session ends with both of them on the ground, laughing and out of breath. Anakin smiles. That's enough for today. Go help your mother with dinner. Inside the villa, Padmé has set up a classroom of sorts. Holobooks line the walls, covering everything from galactic history to advanced mathematics. She teaches the twins politics and diplomacy, showing them recordings from her days in the Senate. This was your father and I before the Empire. We believed in democracy, in freedom, in justice for all. What happened, Mom? Leia asks. Why did it all fall apart? Because people became afraid. Padmé's voice is sad. And fear is the greatest weapon of tyrants. A single man, Emperor Palpatine, used that fear to convince the galaxy to give up their freedom in exchange for security. Could it happen again? Always. That's why we're teaching you. So you'll recognize the signs. So you'll know how to fight it. Luke leans forward. Are we going to fight the Empire? Someday. Padmé glances at Anakin. When you're ready. When the time is right. But for now, you learn. You grow. You become the people the galaxy needs. Leia's eyes narrow with determination beyond her years. We'll be ready. I promise. Outside, the world remains peaceful. But across the galaxy, darkness gathers. On Coruscant, Emperor Palpatine sits on his throne, his face hidden beneath a dark hood. Before him, a hologram flickers to life. It shows a young man and woman, their faces obscured, but their Force signatures unmistakable. Lord Sidious, the Grand Inquisitor's voice, echoes through the chamber. We've detected unusual Force activity in the Outer Rim. 2 individuals, possibly trained, young. Where? The signal was faint. We lost it before we could pinpoint the location, but the initial readings came from the mid-rim. Possibly Naboo. Naboo. Palpatine's fingers drum against the armrest of his throne. Senator Amidala's homeworld. How interesting. Shall we investigate, my lord? Send a patrol. Discreet. If it's nothing, we waste only time. But if it's something, a smile twists his features. If it's something, we may have found the last of Skywalker's bloodline. And this time, I'll make sure they serve me or die. The hologram flickers out. Palpatine rises from his throne and moves to the viewport. Below, Coruscant sprawls in all directions, a planet-wide city consumed by the machinery of the Empire. He's spent years hunting for any trace of Anakin Skywalker. The failure on Mustafar still burns. Vader was supposed to be his greatest weapon. Instead, the fool had chosen love over power, sentiment over strength. But if Skywalker survived, if he had children, then perhaps all was not lost. Children could be molded, shaped, turned, and if they carried Anakin's bloodline, they would be powerful beyond measure. Palpatine would have his weapons, one way or another. On Naboo, Anakin wakes in the middle of the night, his skin cold with sweat. He felt something through the Force, a disturbance, a searching. Padmé stirs beside him. What's wrong? Someone's looking for us. He moves to the window, staring out at the moonlit lake. I can feel it. Obi-Wan, we need to warn him. They dress quickly and take a speeder across the lake. Obi-Wan's cottage is small and simple, much like the Jedi Master himself. He's already awake when they arrive, his face grim. I felt it too. Imperial presence in the system. Not strong, but it's there. We have to leave. Padmé's voice is urgent. Take the children and disappear. No. Anakin's voice is firm. We've been running for 8 years. If we run now, we'll be running forever. Then what do you suggest? We prepare. If they come, we'll be ready. But we won't abandon our home, not without a fight. Obi-Wan studies him for a long moment, then nods. Very well. But we need to be smart about this. The children need to be ready. Their training must accelerate. Agreed. Anakin looks back toward the villa. It's time they learned what they're truly capable of. The next morning, Anakin and Padmé sit Luke and Leia down. The twins, now 10 years old, sense the gravity of the moment. Is something wrong? Luke asks. Not yet, but it might be soon. Anakin takes a deep breath. Your mother and I have kept you sheltered. We wanted to give you a normal childhood. But the truth is, there's nothing normal about our family. You know we're Force-sensitive, Leia states. You've been training us. Yes, but there's more. I was a Jedi once, during the Clone Wars. And your mother was a senator. We fought against tyranny, against injustice, but we failed. The Empire rose, and the Jedi fell. Why? What happened? Luke's eyes are wide. Because I made mistakes. Terrible mistakes. I fell to the dark side. And by the time I realized what I'd done, it was almost too late. The twins process this in silence. Finally, Leia speaks. But you came back. You chose us. Yes. And now the Empire may be coming for us, for you, because of your connection to the Force. Palpatine, the Emperor, wants to control or destroy anyone who might threaten his power. What do we do? Fight. Anakin's voice is steel. Your mother and I have been preparing for this. Obi-Wan has been preparing. And now, it's time for you to prepare as well. Starting today, your training intensifies. No more practice sabers. No more holding back. You need to be ready for whatever comes. Luke and Leia exchange glances. A silent conversation passing between them. Then, as one, they nod. We're ready. The training that follows is unlike anything they've experienced before. Anakin pushes them hard, teaching them advanced lightsaber forms and Force techniques. Obi-Wan joins the sessions, adding his own expertise. He teaches them patience, discipline, and the value of defense. Padmé contributes in her own way, teaching them tactics and strategy, how to read an opponent, how to anticipate their moves. The villa's clearing becomes a training ground. Luke and Leia spar daily, their skills growing exponentially. By the time they're 11, they're formidable. Not Jedi, not yet, but warriors in their own right. One afternoon, as they train, Anakin watches from the sidelines. Padmé joins him, her hand finding his. They're ready, she says quietly, as ready as they can be. Anakin's voice is heavy. I just hope it's enough. It will be. Because they're not alone. They have us. And we have each other. A few days later, Obi-Wan arrives at the villa in a hurry. His face is grave, his movements urgent. Anakin meets him at the door, immediately sensing something is wrong. What is it? Imperial ships. 3 of them just entered the system. They're heading this way. How long do we have? An hour, maybe less. Anakin's blood runs cold. He turns to find Padmé already ushering Luke and Leia into the room. The twins sense the tension immediately, their faces growing serious. Dad, what's happening? Luke asks. Are we in danger? The Empire has found us. Anakin kneels before his children, placing a hand on each of their shoulders. Everything your mother and I have been teaching you, it wasn't just lessons, it was preparation. For this moment, you're both stronger than you know, but you have to trust us. Trust yourselves. Leia's jaw sets with determination. We're not running, are we? Anakin glances at Padmé, who nods. No, the time for running is over. We make our stand here, together. The family prepares quickly and efficiently. Anakin retrieves his old lightsaber from its hiding place, the weapon he thought he'd never ignite again. The blue blade hums to life, casting familiar shadows across the room. Padmé checks her blaster. Her senatorial days long behind her, but her marksmanship still sharp. She's not just a politician anymore. She's a mother protecting her children. and she'll fight to her last breath if necessary. Luke and Leia are given real lightsabers for the first time. Not practice weapons, but true Jedi blades. Luke's is blue, inherited from one of Obi-Wan's fallen comrades. Leia's is green, crafted from a crystal Anakin found years ago. The hilts feel heavy in their young hands. Real, dangerous. But the moment they ignite the blades, something clicks. This is what they were born for. Obi-Wan positions himself near the tree line, his lightsaber ready. His injuries from Mustafar have long since healed, but the memory of that battle never fades. He's older now, wiser, but no less deadly. The Imperial shuttle appears on the horizon, growing larger as it approaches. It lands in the clearing with a hiss of hydraulics. The ramp lowers, and 4 figures emerge. Inquisitors, clad in dark armor, their faces hidden behind helmets. Each one carries a lightsaber, the blades spinning with a distinctive mechanical hum. They spread out, surrounding the villa with practiced efficiency. These are not ordinary soldiers. These are Jedi hunters, trained by Vader, molded by the dark side. The 5th brother takes point, his massive frame intimidating even from a distance. His voice, amplified by his helmet, echoes across the clearing. Anakin Skywalker, we know you're here. Surrender yourself and the children, and the woman will be spared. Anakin steps out onto the balcony, his lightsaber unignited but ready. Padmé flanks him, her blaster aimed at the Inquisitors. Luke and Leia emerge from the shadows on either side, their young faces set with determination that makes even the Inquisitors pause. Those are children. The 9th sister hisses, her voice crackling through her helmet speakers. The Emperor wants them alive, if possible. The 5th brother's helmet turns toward her. Then they'll learn what it means to defy the Empire. The Inquisitors attack as one. The 5th brother leaps to the balcony with inhuman speed. His spinning double-bladed lightsaber, a whirl of red death. Anakin ignites his blade just in time, the blue and red meeting in a shower of sparks. The force of the impact drives him back a step, but he holds firm. Below, the 7th sister and 9th sister advance on Luke and Leia. The twins move as one, their training kicking in automatically. They spread apart, forcing the Inquisitors to divide their attention. Luke's style mirrors his father's, aggressive and powerful. He drives forward with overhead strikes that force the 7th sister to backpedal, her spinning lightsaber barely keeping pace with his assault. But she's experienced, far more than Luke. She redirects his momentum with a subtle parry, nearly disarming him in the process. Luke stumbles, off balance. The 7th sister moves in for the kill. Leia intervenes, her blade coming in from the side in a precise thrust. The Inquisitor barely deflects it, her attention now split between 2 opponents. On the balcony, Anakin fights with controlled fury. Each strike is measured, purposeful. He's not the reckless Padawan he once was, nor the fallen Sith he almost became. He's something between, something balanced. The 5th brother realizes he's outmatched and calls for support. 4th sister, to me, the 4th sister, who had been circling the villa looking for alternate entry points, abandons her position and leaps up to join him. 2 on 1. The odds shift. Anakin smirks beneath the sweat and concentration. I've faced worse odds. The Battle of Geonosis. The siege of Cato Neimoidia, countless Clone Wars engagements. 2 Inquisitors are nothing. The 2 Inquisitors coordinate their attacks with practiced precision. The 5th brother goes high, his massive strength behind each blow. The 4th sister goes low, her strikes fast and serpentine. Anakin moves like water between them, his blade a blur of blue light. He parries the 5th brother's overhead strike and uses the momentum to spin and slash at the 4th sister, forcing her to leap back. But they're not his only concern. Below, his children are holding their own, but they're still young, still learning. A mistake could be fatal. Padmé fires from the doorway, her blaster bolts calculated and precise. She aims for joints in the Inquisitor's armor, weak points in their defense. One shot grazes the 9th sister's shoulder. The Inquisitor snarls in pain and frustration, her attention momentarily diverted. Luke presses his advantage against the 7th sister. His strikes grow faster, more confident. She tries to counter with a spinning slash, but he anticipates the move. His father's lessons paying off. He ducks under her blade and sweeps her legs with a force-enhanced kick. She falls hard, her lightsaber skittering across the ground. Before she can recover, Leia's green blade comes down, stopping inches from her throat. Surrender. Leia's voice is steady, without mercy, but without cruelty either. The 7th sister looks up at the young girl standing over her, and for a moment, something flickers in her eyes. Regret? Fear? But then the moment passes. The Inquisitor reaches for a hidden blade in her boot. Leia doesn't hesitate. Her lightsaber strikes true. The 7th sister falls still. Luke stares at his sister, shock and respect warring on his face. They trained for this, prepared for this. But the reality of taking a life, even an enemy's life, is different from the theory. The 9th sister sees her companion fall and roars in anger. She unleashes a wave of force energy that throws both twins backward. Luke and Leia hit the ground hard, the wind knocked from their lungs. Their lightsabers fly from their hands, deactivating as they clatter away. "No!" Padmé's cry echoes across the clearing. She fires desperately at the Inquisitor, bolt after bolt. But the 9th sister deflects them with ease, her spinning lightsaber creating a shield of red energy. She advances on the fallen children, her blade raised for the killing blow. "This is where your rebellion ends, little ones. The Emperor will be pleased to know you died quickly," but she never reaches them. Anakin drops from the balcony, landing between the Inquisitor and his children with the force of a meteor. The impact cracks the stone beneath his feet. His lightsaber flashes once, twice, 3 times, too fast for the eye to follow. The 9th sister staggers, smoking wounds across her chest and arms. Her lightsaber falls from nerveless fingers. She drops to her knees, then falls forward. Still, on the balcony, the 5th brother and 4th sister realize they're beaten. They exchange glances, their helmets turning toward each other in silent communication. Retreat. The 5th brother's voice is grim. "We're outnumbered and outmatched. Report to Lord Vader." They use force speed to reach their shuttle, moving faster than the eye can track. Anakin considers pursuing but decides against it. His priority is his family. The shuttle lifts off, engines screaming as it climbs into the sky. But as it disappears into the clouds, the sky darkens. A massive shadow falls over the villa. An Imperial Star Destroyer emerges from the upper atmosphere, its wedge-shaped hull blotting out the Sunday. and from its main hangar, a single shuttle descends, smaller than the Inquisitor's transport, more ominous. Anakin helps Luke and Leia to their feet, checking them for injuries. They're bruised but alive. Obi-Wan emerges from the tree line, his lightsaber still ignited. His face is grim. "This is it," he says quietly. "Vader is here." The shuttle lands in the center of the clearing. For a long moment, nothing happens. The only sound is the wind rustling through the trees and the distant hum of the Star Destroyer's engines. Then, the ramp lowers. Vader steps out. His mechanical breathing fills the clearing like a death knell. The sound is wrong, unnatural. Each breath rasps and hisses, powered by the machinery keeping him alive. His armor is black as the void, polished to a mirror sheen. And in his hand, a red lightsaber hangs unignited but ready. Anakin positions himself in front of his family, his blade held in a defensive stance. "Stay behind me, all of you." But Vader's focus isn't on the children, or even Padmé. It's on Anakin. His helmet tilts slightly, as if studying him. The vocoder crackles to life. So, the rumors were true. Anakin Skywalker lives. "Who are you?" Anakin demands. "Another clone? Another of Palpatine's twisted experiments? A remnant?" Vader's voice is cold, emotionless, a shadow. "What you would have become if you had continued down the path of darkness. The Emperor's contingency plan. When you failed him on Mustafar, he created me, perfected you, made you into the weapon you should have been. I am what you feared, what you rejected, and now I will finish what you could not." Vader ignites his lightsaber. The red blade casts an ominous glow across his black armor. The two warriors begin to circle each other. Anakin can feel the dark side radiating from Vader like a physical force. This thing is strong. Perhaps as strong as he once was at his peak. But Anakin is no longer fighting alone. Padmé takes up position with her blaster, her stance steady despite the fear in her eyes. Obi-Wan moves to flank Vader, his lightsaber ready. Luke and Leia retrieve their weapons, standing on either side of their father. This is no longer a duel. It's a battle, a family fighting together against the darkness. Vader charges first. His opening strike is devastating. A two-handed overhead slash, meant to split Anakin in half. Anakin meets it head-on, their blades crashing together with such force that the ground beneath them cracks. Shockwaves ripple outward, throwing up dust and debris. Obi-Wan comes in from the side, his defensive form perfectly complementing Anakin's aggressive style. The two old friends move in sync, their years of fighting together not forgotten. It's like the Clone Wars again, back when they were unstoppable. Vader is forced to defend against both. His movements, mechanical, but efficient. He blocks Anakin's overhead strike with his lightsaber held horizontally, then pivots to parry Obi-Wan's thrust with the tip of his blade. The economy of motion is perfect. No wasted energy, no unnecessary flourishes. This is a killing machine. But then Padmé fires. The blaster bolt takes Vader in the shoulder. While his armor absorbs most of the impact, it staggers him. Just for a moment. But a moment is all the Skywalkers need. Luke and Leia see the opening. They move as one, just as they did against the Inquisitors. Luke goes high, his blue blade arcing toward Vader's head. Leia goes low, her green blade targeting his leg joints. Vader blocks Luke's strike, his superior strength and reach giving him the advantage. But Leia's blade slashes across his leg joint. Sparks fly, the armor is breached. For the first time, Vader feels pain. Real pain. Not the dull ache of his mechanical body, but sharp, immediate agony. He lashes out with the Force, throwing everyone back with a wave of dark energy. The family is scattered, each member hitting the ground hard. Anakin is the first to rise, his lightsaber already coming up to block Vader's follow-up attack. The red and blue blades lock, held mere inches apart by the force and strength of both warriors. You cannot win. Vader's vocoder crackles. The Emperor has already won. The Jedi are destroyed. The Republic is gone. Your resistance is meaningless. Then why are you here? Anakin pushes back, breaking the lock. If we're meaningless, why waste your time? Because the Emperor commands it, and I obey. That's the difference between us. I chose freedom. You chose slavery. For a moment, just a fraction of a second, something flickers in Vader's mechanical breathing. A hitch, a hesitation, then it's gone, replaced by renewed fury. Vader attacks with brutal efficiency, his strikes designed to kill. But the Skywalkers are resilient. They rise again, all of them. Anakin stands with his family, his master, and realizes something profound. This is what Palpatine feared. Not him alone, not the chosen one in isolation, but the family, the connection, the love that makes them stronger together than any Sith could ever be alone. You're not what I would have become, Anakin says, his voice carrying across the clearing. You're what Palpatine wanted me to be, a slave to the dark side, a puppet. I choose freedom. I choose love. I choose my family. The battle resumes with renewed intensity. But now, there's a coordination to the family's attacks that wasn't there before. Anakin and Obi-Wan engage Vader directly, their styles complementing each other perfectly. Anakin's aggressive assault creates openings. Obi-Wan's defensive mastery exploits them. Padmé provides covering fire, her shots timed to coincide with the lightsaber exchanges. Each bolt forces Vader to divide his attention, to defend against attacks from multiple angles. Luke and Leia dart in and out like phantoms, striking at weak points before retreating. Luke targets Vader's damaged leg. Leia goes for his hands, trying to disarm him. They're not trying to win through a single decisive blow. They're wearing him down, death by 1,000 cuts. And it's working. Vader's movements become less precise. His breathing, already labored, grows more ragged. His defenses begin to falter. Finally, the opening comes. Anakin's lightsaber slashes across Vader's chest plate, melting through the armor. Obi-Wan's blade cuts through his wrist, severing the hand holding the lightsaber. The red blade falls, deactivating as it hits the ground. Luke and Leia move in together, their blades crossing at Vader's throat. The Dark Warrior drops to his knees, his breathing now a harsh, desperate wheeze. It's over. Anakin stands before Vader, his lightsaber ready for the final blow. Behind the mask, Vader's photoreceptors flicker. The Emperor will never stop hunting you. You know this. Let him come. We'll be ready. Anakin raises his lightsaber. May the Force be with you. He brings the blade down. Vader shudders once, then falls still. The clearing is silent, except for the family's heavy breathing and the distant hum of the Star Destroyer's engines. They've won. But at what cost? Padmé rushes to check on Luke and Leia, her hands running over them looking for injuries. They're bruised, exhausted, but alive. Obi-Wan deactivates his lightsaber, leaning heavily on his knees. That was too close. We need to leave. Immediately. But their moment of respite is shattered by a sound that chills them to the bone. Slow, mocking applause. They look up. On the Star Destroyer's bridge viewport, a figure stands, robed in black, face hidden in shadow. But they all know who it is. Palpatine. His voice crackles through every speaker on the ship and across the clearing, amplified and distorted. Impressive. Young Skywalker. Very impressive indeed. You've become quite the thorn in my side, destroying my Inquisitors, killing my perfect weapon. And with such a charming family too. The Star Destroyer's weapons begin to charge, the turbolasers glowing with deadly energy. But this isn't over. Not by a long measure. I've spent years hunting you, Anakin. Years wondering what became of my greatest disappointment. And now, I've found you. Found your family, your weakness. Anakin steps forward, his lightsaber still ignited. If you're going to attack, then do it. Stop hiding behind your ship and face us. Oh, I will. The voice carries a smile. But not today. Today, I simply wanted to see for myself, to confirm that you're alive, that your children exist. And now, I have. The turbolasers don't fire at the family. Instead, they target the surrounding area. The lake erupts in geysers of steam. The mountains crack and crumble. The forests ignite. Palpatine is destroying their sanctuary. Not to kill them, but to send a message. Nowhere is safe. We have to go. Obi-Wan shouts over the explosions. Now, the family races to Padmé's ship, still hidden in a nearby hangar. Behind them, their home, the place where Luke and Leia grew up, is consumed by fire. Everything they built, every memory, reduced to ash. As they board the ship, Leia looks back, tears streaming down her face. Our home. He'll pay for this. Luke's voice is cold, harder than Anakin has ever heard it. They all will. Where do we go now? Padmé asks as the ship lifts off. Dodging turbolaser fire, Anakin looks at his family, then at Obi-Wan. We stop running. We stop hiding. It's time to fight back. The ship jumps to hyperspace just as the Star Destroyer's tractor beams lock onto their position. They escape by seconds. In the swirling blue tunnel of hyperspace, the family finally allows themselves to breathe, to process what just happened. Anakin sits in the pilot's seat, his hands steady on the controls despite everything. Beside him, Padmé tends to Luke and Leia's wounds. They're minor, but she fusses over them anyway. Obi-Wan stands at the viewport, staring at the hyperspace tunnel. His reflection shows an old man, tired and worn. Where are we going? He asks again. Alderaan. Anakin's voice is firm. Bail Organa has been working in secret to organize resistance against the Empire. He'll help us. Are you certain? Bringing the fight to Alderaan could endanger millions. The fight is already coming, whether we bring it or not. At least this way, we can prepare. We can build something strong enough to stand against Palpatine. Obi-Wan considers this, then nods slowly. Very well. But Anakin, you realize what this means. Once we openly oppose the Empire, there's no going back. We become symbols, targets. I know. That's exactly what I'm counting on. Hours later, they emerge from hyperspace above Alderaan. The planet is beautiful. Its snow-capped mountains and green valleys pristine and untouched by war. For now, they're met by a small defense fleet, Alderaanian cruisers, elegant and peaceful-looking, a stark contrast to Imperial Star Destroyers. One of the cruisers hails them. This is the Alderaanian Defense Force. Identify yourself. This is Padmé Amidala, former senator of Naboo. We're here to speak with Bail Organa. It's urgent. There's a long pause. Then the response comes, warmer this time. Senator Amidala, we thought you were dead. You and your family are cleared for landing. The Viceroy is expecting you. They land in Aldera, Alderaan's capital city. It's nothing like Coruscant. No towering skyscrapers or endless traffic. Just beautiful architecture, parks, and a sense of peace that feels almost alien after years of hiding. Bail Organa meets them at the landing platform. He's older than Anakin remembers, his hair graying at the temples, but his eyes are still sharp, still filled with the determination that made him a leader. Padmé, he embraces her warmly. It's good to see you alive. You as well, Bail. He turns to Anakin, his expression more cautious. Skywalker, I heard you died on Mustafar. I almost did, but I chose a different path. And now I'm here to help you fight the Empire. Bail studies him for a long moment, then nods. Come, there's much to discuss. They're led to a conference room deep in the palace. Already waiting are several familiar faces. Mon Mothma, former senator of Chandrila, Garm Bel Iblis of Corellia, and others. Senators and leaders who refuse to bend the knee to Palpatine. We've been working in secret for years, Bail explains. Building networks, stockpiling supplies, recruiting sympathetic systems. But we lack military leadership, and we lack a symbol, something the people can rally behind. That's why you're here, Mon Mothma says, her eyes on Anakin. The hero with no fear, the Jedi general who won countless battles during the Clone Wars. If you join us, others will follow. I'm not a Jedi anymore, Anakin says quietly. I'm not sure I ever really was. You're a man who chose love over power. Mon Mothma's voice is gentle. Who chose family over ambition. That's more valuable than any title. And your children, she looks at Luke and Leia. They carry your legacy. The next generation of hope. Leia steps forward, her voice clear and strong. We'll fight. We're ready. Luke nods beside her. Whatever it takes. Bail smiles. Then, welcome to the rebellion. Over the next several weeks, the rebellion takes shape. Not the desperate, scattered resistance that would exist in another timeline, but something more organized, more powerful. Anakin becomes the rebellion's military commander, his tactical genius and force abilities making him formidable. He begins training rebel soldiers, teaching them strategies he learned during the Clone Wars. Padmé works with Mon Mothma on the political front, reaching out to sympathetic senators and systems. Her years in the Senate give her connections and credibility. Slowly, a coalition forms. Obi-Wan takes on the role of advisor and teacher. He trains Luke and Leia in the deeper mysteries of the Force, guiding them toward balance rather than the rigid Jedi doctrine. The twins, now 12 years old, grow stronger each day. Luke's power in the Force is raw and immense, much like his father's. When he focuses, he can move objects weighing tons, can sense events across star systems, but it's unrefined, wild. He needs discipline. Leia's connection is more subtle but equally powerful. She can sense emotions, read intentions, predict actions before they happen. Her gift is understanding, empathy, and that makes her just as dangerous as her brother. Together, they represent a new generation of Force users, not Jedi, bound by dogma, not Sith, consumed by darkness, something else entirely. One afternoon, as they train in Alderaan's mountains, Obi-Wan watches them spar. Their lightsabers flash in the sunlight, blue and green blurs of light. They're powerful. Anakin joins him, arms crossed. Perhaps too powerful. That's what Master Yoda said about me. Look how that turned out. That's precisely my point. These children will shape the galaxy's future. We must ensure they're ready for that burden. They're not alone. They have us. They have each other. That's what makes them different, what makes them stronger. Obi-Wan considers this, then nods. Perhaps you're right. Love was never the weakness the Jedi thought it was. It was always our greatest strength. Below, Luke and Leia finish their sparring. They sit together on a rock, watching the sun set over Alderaan's mountains. Do you think we can really beat the Empire? Luke asks quietly. Dad seems confident, but the Empire is huge, powerful. We have to try. Leia's voice is firm. If we don't, who will? What if we're not strong enough? Then we get stronger. We train harder. We fight smarter. And we never, ever give up. Luke looks at his sister, sees the determination in her eyes, and feels his own resolve strengthen. You're right. We can do this. Together. Always together. Across the galaxy, the Emperor sits in his throne room on Coruscant. Before him, a hologram displays the rebel fleet gathering above Alderaan. It's small, insignificant compared to the Imperial Navy, but it's growing. Lord Sidious. The Grand Inquisitor's voice is hesitant. What are your orders? Palpatine is silent for a long moment, his fingers steepled beneath his hood. Then he speaks, his voice cold and final. Prepare the fleet, all of it. We will crush this rebellion before it can take root. Alderaan will serve as an example. Show the galaxy what happens to those who defy me. And Skywalker? He is mine. Do not harm him or his children. I want them brought before me alive, captured, not killed. They will serve me, or they will watch their precious rebellion burn. The hologram flickers out. Palpatine rises from his throne and moves to the viewport. Below, Coruscant sprawls in all directions. His empire, his galaxy, and soon Skywalker will kneel before him once more, or die. On Alderaan, intelligence reaches Rebel Command 3 days later. An Imperial fleet, is gathering. Massive, unprecedented, and it's heading straight for them. The command center erupts into controlled chaos. Officers shout orders. Technicians pull up tactical displays. Pilots run for their fighters. Bail Organa looks at the tactical display with growing horror. That's not a fleet. That's an armada. Hundreds of star destroyers. Thousands of fighters. This is everything the Empire has in the core worlds. We need to evacuate. Get the civilians off planet. There's no time. Anakin's voice cuts through the chaos. They'll be here within 3 days. We can't evacuate millions in 3 days. Then we fight. Mon Mothma's voice is steady. We make our stand here. Show the galaxy that the Empire can be resisted. Are you willing to risk everything? Padmé asks. Millions of lives hang in the balance. We've been risking everything since the moment we chose to resist. Mon Mothma meets her gaze. This is no different. If we run now, we lose all credibility. We become what Palpatine wants us to be. Cowards and fugitives. Anakin studies the tactical display. They're right. If we flee, the rebellion dies before it truly begins. So we stand and fight. But we fight smart. Obi-Wan, can you reach any other Jedi survivors? There are a few scattered across the Outer Rim. They've been hiding, but they might answer the call if they knew you were alive. Reach out to them. We need every advantage we can get. Padmé, work with Mon Mothma. Coordinate the ground defenses. Get civilians to shelters. Prepare for a siege. And Luke, Leia, you're with me. We're going to plan something that will give us a fighting chance. The twins follow their father to a private chamber. Inside, he pulls up a holographic display of the Imperial fleet. It's enormous, overwhelming, but not invincible. Dad, how are we supposed to fight that? Luke's voice wavers. We can't. Not head on. But we don't need to. The Empire's strength is also its weakness. They rely on overwhelming force, on intimidation. They're not used to opponents who think creatively. Leia leans forward, studying the display. The command ship. If we take it out, the rest of the fleet will be in chaos. Exactly. Anakin smiles. Palpatine will be commanding from his personal flagship. It's the largest ship in the fleet, the most heavily defended. But if we can get inside, if we can take him down, this war ends. That's suicide. Luke protests. Even for you. Maybe. But it's our best shot. And we won't be alone. Obi-Wan will gather the surviving Jedi. We'll have help. Over the next 3 days, Alderaan transforms into a fortress. Weapons, emplacements are erected on the mountains. Shield generators are brought online. The rebel fleet, small but determined, takes up defensive positions in orbit. Volunteers flood the recruitment centers. Alderaanians who've never held a weapon training alongside hardened rebel soldiers. Old men and young women, farmers and scholars, all united by a single purpose: to defend their home, to prove that the Empire can be beaten. Obi-Wan's call goes out across the galaxy. A plea for help. A summons to any Jedi who still live. And remarkably, some answer. Quinlan Vos emerges from hiding on Kashyyyk. Ahsoka Tano arrives from the unknown regions. Even a few Padawans, barely trained but willing to fight, make the journey. By the time the Imperial fleet arrives, there are 15 Jedi standing with the rebellion. It's not the 1,000 that once filled the temple, but it's enough. The Battle of Alderaan begins with a silence that's almost reverent. The Imperial fleet emerges from hyperspace, a wall of grey steel that blots out the stars. Star destroyers stretch in every direction. In the center, larger than anything else, is the Executor, Palpatine's personal super-star destroyer. The rebel fleet looks like toys in comparison. A handful of cruisers and frigates against an armada. But they don't waver, don't retreat. They hold their position, waiting. On the Executor's bridge, Palpatine stands at the viewport. His eyes, yellow and ancient, survey the rebel fleet with something like amusement. Pitiful, he murmurs. They don't even realize they're already dead. Beside him, the Grand Inquisitor bows. "Shall we commence the attack, my lord?" "Not yet. I want to savor this. Let them see what they're facing. Let them feel the weight of inevitability. Then crush them." In the Rebel Command Center, Anakin stands surrounded by holographic displays. The Imperial fleet fills every screen. Beside him, Luke and Leia are suited up in flight gear, ready for combat. Padmé stands with Mon Mothma and Bail, coordinating the ground defenses. All ships. This is General Skywalker. Anakin's voice carries across the fleet channels. "I know what you're seeing. I know how impossible this looks. But I've faced impossible odds before. On Geonosis, on Coruscant, during the Clone Wars, and I'm still here. We all are. Because we fight for something worth fighting for. Freedom, justice, hope. The Empire has numbers. They have firepower. But we have something they don't. We have each other." The fleet erupts in cheers. Pilots check their weapons. Gunners prime their turrets. And across the rebel lines, a sense of determination settles. They might lose this battle. They might all die. But they'll make the Empire pay for every inch. Palpatine gives the order. The Imperial fleet advances. Turbolasers light up space. Green and red lances of energy crossing the void. The rebel ships return fire, their smaller weapons peppering the Star Destroyer's shields. Fighters launch from both fleets. TIE fighters swarm like insects, their distinctive scream filling the comm channels. X-wings and Y-wings meet them head-on, the resulting dogfights lighting up the space around Alderaan. Anakin climbs into his fighter, a modified X-wing with enhanced shields and maneuverability. Luke takes the seat behind him as co-pilot. Leia flies her own fighter, flanked by 2 veteran pilots. "Red Squadron, form up on me." Anakin's voice is calm, despite the chaos. "Our target is the Executor. We're going to punch through their fighter screen, hit their shield generators, and create an opening for the bombers." "Copy that, General." The pilots respond in unison. Anakin guns, his engines. The X-wing leaps forward, faster than any standard model. Beside him, Luke mans the weapons, his connection to the Force allowing him to anticipate enemy movements before they happen. TIE fighter. 3 o'clock. Luke calls. "Got it." Anakin rolls the fighter, evading the incoming fire. Luke locks on and squeezes the trigger. The TIE explodes in a ball of fire. The space battle is chaos. Ships weave and dodge, weapons flashing in all directions. Anakin flies through it all with supernatural grace, his connection to the Force guiding every move. He takes out tie after tie, each kill opening the way for the bombers behind him. Leia's voice crackles over the comm. "Dad, I'm picking up something on the sensors. A squadron of TIE interceptors heading for the bombers. I see them. Leia, Gold Squadron, intercept. Keep those bombers safe." On it. Leia banks her fighter hard, her squadron following. The interceptors are fast, deadly. But Leia is faster. She anticipates their moves, her connection to the Force giving her an edge. Her targeting computer locks on. She fires. One interceptor goes down, then another. Her squadron mops up the rest. On the ground, the battle is just as intense. Imperial landing craft descend through Alderaan's atmosphere, disgorging thousands of stormtroopers. They march on Aldera, their white armor gleaming under the Sunday. Padmé stands on the command center balcony, her blaster in hand. She's not just coordinating anymore. She's fighting. Beside her, Bail Organa directs artillery fire. The mountains erupt with turbolaser emplacements, their green bolts tearing through the Imperial ranks. But there are too many. For every stormtrooper that falls, two more take his place. We can't hold them forever. Bail's voice is grim. Then we hold them as long as we can. Padmé fires, her aim true. A stormtrooper drops. Buy the fleet time to break through. In space, Anakin's fighter dodges a barrage of turbolaser fire from a Star Destroyer. The ship's guns track him, but he's too fast. He weaves through the fire, getting closer to the Executor. "Luke, I need you to focus. Use the Force. Find the shield generator." Luke closes his eyes, reaching out through the Force. The ship is massive, but he can feel it. The subtle hum of the generators. The weak points in the design. There. Upper hull, port side. Just behind the command tower. I see it. Anakin adjusts his course, diving toward the Executor. Behind him, Y-wing bombers follow, their proton torpedoes armed. TIEs swarm to intercept, but Red Squadron engages them, buying the bombers time. Anakin's targeting computer locks on. Steady, steady. He fires. The lasers hit the shield generator dead on. Sparks fly. The generator overloads. A section of the Executor's shields flickers and dies. "Bombers, you're clear. Go." The Y-wings dive in, releasing their torpedoes. The weapons streak toward the exposed hull, impacting with devastating force. Secondary explosions ripple across the ship's surface. But it's not enough. The Executor is too large, too heavily armored. The damage is superficial. Palpatine feels the impact through the Force. He smiles, brave, but futile. "Bring me Skywalker. I want him alive." On Alderaan's surface, the Jedi make their stand. Obi-Wan leads them, his blue lightsaber, a beacon in the chaos. Ahsoka fights beside him, her twin white blades flashing. Quinlan Vos uses the shadows to his advantage, striking from unexpected angles. The stormtroopers fall before them, but the Empire has numbers, and numbers count. Obi-Wan deflects a barrage of blaster bolts, sending them back at the troopers. Beside him, a young Padawan named Ferren Barr uses the Force to hurl debris at the enemy. "We can't hold this position much longer." Ahsoka's voice is strained. "We need to fall back to the palace." "Agreed." Obi-Wan calls out, "Jedi, retreat!" Fighting withdrawal. The Jedi pull back, covering each other as they move. The stormtroopers pursue, relentless. In space, Anakin makes a decision. He opens a comm channel to the entire fleet. All ships, this is Skywalker. We're not going to win this by playing defense. It's time to take the fight to them. I'm boarding the Executor. Anyone who wants to join me, form up on my position. Dad, that's insane. Leia's voice cuts in. I'm coming with you. Me too, Luke adds. No, you two stay with the fleet. Keep the pressure on. This is something I have to do, but we're stronger together. That's what you always taught us. And you will be together. Anakin's voice softens. Trust me. I'll see you both soon. Before they can argue further, he closes the channel. His fighter streaks toward the Executor, dodging fire from every direction. Obi-Wan's voice crackles through the comm. Anakin, I'm reading your trajectory. You're going to board that ship alone? Not alone. I have the Force. And I have something Palpatine doesn't. I have hope. The X-Wing crashes through the hangar bay shields, landing hard on the Executor's deck. Stormtroopers and TIE pilots scatter. Anakin emerges from the cockpit, lightsaber ignited. He doesn't stop, doesn't slow down. He cuts through the troopers like they're not even there. His blade, a blur of blue light. Alarms blare. Blast doors seal. But Anakin carves through them, using the Force to rip them apart. He's a force of nature, unstoppable. The path to the throne room is long and winding, but he doesn't hesitate. Every corridor, every hangar, every checkpoint falls before him. Royal guards try to stop him. Inquisitors emerge from the shadows. But Anakin defeats them all. He's not the conflicted Jedi he once was. He's not the fallen Sith he almost became. He's something else. Something balanced. Something deadly. Finally, he reaches the throne room. The doors open with a hiss. Inside, Palpatine waits. The Emperor sits on his throne, his face hidden beneath a dark hood. Around him, the room is vast and empty, designed to intimidate. Skywalker. Palpatine's voice echoes. You've come to face me at last. After all these years, rise. Let's finish this. I should have killed you on Mustafar when I had the chance. You tried, and you failed, just like you're failing now. Your empire is crumbling, Palpatine. The people are rising against you. Palpatine laughs. A sound like grinding metal. Crumbling? My empire spans the galaxy. It will last 1,000 years. Your pathetic rebellion is nothing but a spark, and I will extinguish it. Lightning erupts from the Emperor's fingertips, arcing across the room. Anakin raises his lightsaber, the blade absorbing the energy. The force of it drives him to one knee, but he holds. You've grown stronger. Palpatine rises from his throne, but you're still no match for me. I am the dark side incarnate. I have ruled this galaxy for years. I have crushed every challenge, silenced every dissent. What makes you think you're any different? Because I'm not alone. The throne room doors explode inward. Obi-Wan strides through, lightsaber ignited. Beside him, Ahsoka, Quinlan, Voss, and the other surviving Jedi. And behind them, breaking through the hangar with the last of their fuel, Luke and Leia. Dad. You really think we'd let you do this alone? Luke's voice is breathless but determined. We're family. We fight together. Palpatine's eyes widen, genuine surprise flickering across his face. Then he smiles. So be it. If you insist on dying together, I'll oblige. The Emperor unleashes his full power. Lightning fills the room, arcing from wall to wall. The Jedi scatter, raising their blades to defend, but the power is overwhelming. One Padawan falls, then another. Even Obi-Wan struggles to hold back the torrent. Anakin stands at the center, his lightsaber a beacon. Around him, his family fights. Luke and Leia work in perfect sync, their blades moving as one. Obi-Wan and Ahsoka protect the younger Jedi, and slowly, step by step, they advance. Palpatine realizes his mistake. He focused on power, on domination. But these people fight for something greater. They fight for each other. The lightning falters, just for a moment. But a moment is all they need. Anakin surges forward, his blade cutting through the dark energy. He reaches Palpatine, their lightsabers locking. Blue against red, light against darkness. You were right about one thing. Anakin says through gritted teeth, the Force does need balance, but not your twisted version. Real balance, light and dark, love and discipline, family and duty. He pushes forward, breaking the lock. Luke and Leia flank him, their blades joining his. 3 Skywalkers against the Emperor. Obi-Wan circles behind, cutting off escape routes. Ahsoka and Quinlan disable the throne room's exits, trapping them all inside. Palpatine fights desperately, his centuries of knowledge and power on full display. He's faster than any of them, his movements a blur of dark robes and crimson energy. Stronger in the dark side than they could imagine, drawing on wells of power that feel bottomless. His lightsaber becomes multiple illusions, making it impossible to track the real blade. He nearly kills Obi-Wan with a concentrated blast of lightning that cracks the floor beneath the Jedi Master's feet. Obi-Wan screams, his body convulsing as the dark energy courses through him. Only Ahsoka's intervention saves him, her white blades cutting through the lightning stream. The Emperor pivots instantly, his attention shifting to the young Togruta. You were Skywalker's apprentice once. I remember you, the one who walked away. Such potential, wasted. His blade nearly takes her head off with a spinning strike that would have bisected her if she hadn't dropped into a roll. But every time he gains the advantage, the others cover. Quinlan Vos throws debris with the Force, disrupting Palpatine's concentration. The younger Jedi create openings with coordinated strikes. They work as a unit, a family, and family is stronger than any individual power. No matter how ancient or terrible, the battle rages for what feels like hours but is only minutes. The throne room is in ruins. Walls are scorched black from lightning. The floor is cratered from Force impacts. Bodies of fallen Jedi lie scattered, their sacrifices buying time for the others. Palpatine stands at the center of it all, breathing heavily now. Even his immense power has limits. Anakin circles him, looking for an opening. Luke and Leia do the same from opposite sides. Obi-Wan recovers enough to stand, his robes smoking, but his grip on his lightsaber still firm. You cannot win this. Palpatine's voice carries desperation now, beneath the bravado. I have foreseen it. The Empire will endure. The Sith will rise again. Your pathetic rebellion will be crushed. You've already lost. Anakin says, his voice calm despite the chaos. You just don't know it yet. Your empire was built on fear, on control, but we fight for something stronger, something you'll never understand. Love, family, hope. Those aren't weaknesses. They're what make us unbreakable. The Emperor's face twists with rage. Fool! I offered you everything. Power beyond imagining, immortality, the strength to save everyone you loved, and you threw it away for sentiment, for weakness. You're wrong. Anakin's lightsaber comes up in a defensive stance. Love isn't weakness. It's what saved me from becoming you. Leia sees the opening first. Palpatine is focused entirely on Anakin now. Their history and hatred creating tunnel vision. The Emperor has forgotten the most important lesson of combat. Never lose track of all your opponents. His back is exposed, his attention divided between Anakin and his own rage. She doesn't hesitate, doesn't announce her attack or give any warning. Her green blade flashes through the air, striking with the precision her mother taught her and the power her father gave her. The lightsaber slashes across Palpatine's spine, cutting through his robes and into flesh. The Emperor screams, a sound that echoes through the Force itself, like a shockwave. Every Force-sensitive being in the system feels it, a cry of pain, of rage, of disbelief that this could be happening. He whirls on her with inhuman speed, despite the wound. His face contorted with fury. Lightning erupts from his fingertips, more powerful than anything he's unleashed before. This isn't combat lightning. This is execution energy, meant to reduce her to ash. But Luke is there. His blue blade intercepts the stream of energy, absorbing it and redirecting it harmlessly into the walls. Brother and sister stand together, their lightsabers crossed in an X formation, protecting each other as they've always done. Palpatine pours more power into the attack, his ancient face straining with effort. The air crackles with dark side energy. The smell of ozone fills the throne room, and Anakin strikes from behind. His blue blade pierces through Palpatine's chest, emerging from the front in a spray of sparks and dark energy. The Emperor's eyes go wide, his mouth opening in shock. The lightning falters, then dies. The Emperor staggers forward, his hands grasping at the blade protruding from his chest. His yellow eyes, ancient and evil beyond measure, meet Anakin's. There's recognition there, understanding, and beneath it all, something that might be fear. This, his voice is a rasp now. The power draining from it isn't over. The Sith will rise. Again, there will always be darkness, always be those who seek power. And when they come, you won't be ready. Your precious family will fall, your republic will crumble, and everything you've built will turn to ash. No, Anakin's voice is final, carrying absolute certainty. They won't, because we'll be ready. We'll teach our children, and they'll teach theirs. The lesson will pass down through generations. That love is stronger than hate. That family is stronger than power. That light can always push back darkness. You've already lost, Palpatine. You just don't realize it yet. Obi-Wan's blade comes down, striking through the Emperor's shoulder. Ahsoka's white lightsabers follow, crossing through his torso from both sides. Luke and Leia strike together, their blades moving in perfect synchronization. The culmination of years of training and a lifetime of connection. And Emperor Palpatine, Darth Sidious, the Dark Lord of the Sith who ruled the galaxy for decades, who orchestrated the fall of the Jedi Order and the rise of the Empire, who believed himself invincible and eternal, falls. His body crumples to the floor, the dark side energy that sustained him for so long dissipating like smoke in wind. The yellow fades from his eyes, leaving them empty and lifeless. His ancient face, no longer animated by hatred and power, simply looks old, tired, finished. For a moment, the room is utterly silent, except for the heavy breathing of the survivors. No one moves, no one speaks. They all stare at the fallen Emperor, almost unable to believe it's real. Then, through the Force, every Jedi in the galaxy feels it. A wave of relief, of release, washing across the cosmos like a tsunami of light. The death of the Sith, the end of their ancient enemy, the breaking of chains that had bound the Force for millennia. On planets across the galaxy, Force sensitives who've been in hiding for years suddenly feel lighter, freer, as if a great weight has been lifted from their shoulders. The shadow that loomed over everything, the presence they learned to hide from and fear, is gone. Simply, completely gone. On the bridge of the Executor, the crew feels their master's death. Confusion ripples through their ranks. Orders go unanswered. The command structure collapses. Across the Imperial fleet, the same thing happens. Without Palpatine's iron will holding them together, the fleet fractures. Some captains order immediate retreat. Others try to maintain the attack but lack coordination. A few, sensing opportunity, turn on each other, old rivalries surfacing. The rebel fleet seizes the moment. They press the attack, targeting the confused Imperial ships. One Star Destroyer goes down, then another. The tide of battle shifts. On Alderaan's surface, the stormtroopers falter. Their advance stalls. Some drop their weapons and surrender. Others flee to their landing craft and escape into orbit. The Jedi regroup, exhausted but victorious. Padmé stands on the command center balcony, watching the Imperial retreat. Beside her, Mon Mothma and Bail Organa embrace, tears streaming down their faces. We did it. Bail's voice is choked with emotion. We actually did it. It's not over yet. Padmé's pragmatism reasserts itself. The Empire still exists. There are admirals and warlords across the galaxy who'll try to maintain control. But the Emperor is dead. The symbol of their power is gone. And that changes everything. In the throne room of the Executor, the Skywalker family stands together. Anakin deactivates his lightsaber, suddenly feeling every year of his age. Luke and Leia rush to him, their arms wrapping around their father. "Are you okay?" Leia asks, her voice muffled against his chest. "I'm fine." He holds them close. "We're all fine." And it's over. Obi-Wan approaches, leaning heavily on his lightsaber. "Not quite. We need to secure this ship. Make sure there are no more surprises." "Agreed. But first," Anakin looks around at the Jedi who survived. At Obi-Wan, who never gave up on him. At Ahsoka, who returned despite everything. At his children, who fought beside him. Thank you. All of you. Without you, none of this would have been possible. We're family, Ahsoka says simply. That's what family does. The executor is secured within hours. The remaining crew surrenders without a fight. The ship becomes the flagship of the rebel fleet, a symbol of their victory. But the battle is far from over. Across the galaxy, Imperial forces refuse to accept Palpatine's death. Warlords carve out their own territories. Some systems declare independence. Others are subjugated by ambitious admirals. The galaxy descends into chaos, but the rebellion is ready. With Anakin Skywalker leading the military efforts and Mon Mothma coordinating the political front, they begin the long work of restoring order, system by system, planet by planet. Luke and Leia prove instrumental. They lead strike teams to liberate worlds under Imperial control. Their Force abilities and combat skills make them legends. Stories spread of the Skywalker twins, the children who helped kill the Emperor. But more than that, they become symbols of hope, proof that the next generation can be better than the last. Months turn into years. The fighting continues, but gradually, the Empire crumbles. Without Palpatine's leadership, without the Sith's dark influence, it collapses under its own weight. 5 years after the Battle of Alderaan, the New Republic is officially established. Not a restoration of the old, corrupt system, but something new, something better. Mon Mothma becomes the first Chancellor, elected by a reformed Senate where representatives are chosen by merit and integrity, not wealth and influence. Bail Organa oversees the reformation of the legislative process, ensuring checks and balances to prevent another Palpatine from rising. Padmé serves as Mon Mothma's chief advisor, her experience and wisdom invaluable in shaping the new government. And Anakin? He steps away from military command. He's fought enough wars for one lifetime, seen enough death, lost enough friends. It's time for something different. Together with Obi-Wan, they establish a new Force Academy on Alderaan. Not a Jedi temple bound by rigid dogma, but a place where Force users can learn balance, where emotion isn't suppressed but understood, where attachments aren't forbidden but celebrated, where the mistakes of the past can be learned from and avoided. Luke and Leia are the first instructors, despite their youth. At 17 years old, they've seen more combat and faced more darkness than most Jedi saw in a lifetime. But they've also learned the value of love, of family, of connection. They teach what their father taught them: balance. Not the cold detachment of the old Jedi Order. Not the consuming passion of the Sith, but something in between. Something sustainable. Students come from across the galaxy. Jedi survivors who've been in hiding, grateful for a place to belong again. Force-sensitive children discovered on distant worlds. Even some former Inquisitors who wish to atone for their past, seeking redemption. The Academy grows quickly. Within 2 years, there are over 100 students. Within 5, over 300. A new generation of Force users, trained not in the ways of the old Jedi or the Sith, but in something new, something better. One evening, Anakin and Padmé stand together on a balcony overlooking the Academy grounds. Below, Luke and Leia are training a group of younglings, their laughter echoing through the courtyard. The children practice with training sabers, their movements clumsy but enthusiastic. Luke demonstrates a kata, his movements fluid and precise. Leia guides a young Twi'lek girl through a meditation exercise. "We did it," Padmé says softly, leaning against her husband. "We raised them right. They're going to change the galaxy." Anakin wraps an arm around her, pulling her close. "They already have. And you know what the best part is?" Padmé looks up at him, smiling. "What?" "We get to watch. We get to be here for it. No more hiding. No more running. No more wars. Just us. Just family." As the twin suns set over Alderaan, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, the Skywalker family stands together, not as Jedi, not as heroes, just as a family. And that's enough. That's more than enough. But the story doesn't end there. Years continue to pass. Luke eventually marries a rebellion pilot named Mara Jade, a former Emperor's Hand who defected after Palpatine's death. They have a son, Ben, named after Obi-Wan Kenobi. Leia marries Han Solo, the smuggler-turned-rebel hero who helped break the Imperial blockade of Corellia. They have twins of their own, Jason and Jaina, and later a younger son, Anakin. The Academy flourishes. The New Republic grows stronger. And while there are always challenges, always threats, the galaxy finds a peace it hasn't known in generations. Anakin watches his grandchildren play in the Academy courtyard, their laughter reminding him of Luke and Leia at that age. Padmé sits beside him, her hair now silver, but her eyes still bright. "Do you ever think about what might have been?" she asks quietly. "If you'd chosen differently on Mustafar?" "Every day," Anakin admits, "I think about the younglings I killed, the Jedi I betrayed, the darkness I embraced. Those memories will never leave me. But then I look at our family, our children and grandchildren, the galaxy we helped save, and I know I made the right choice. Even if it came almost too late, it wasn't too late." Padmé takes his hand. "You chose love. You chose us. And that made all the difference." Obi-Wan joins them, moving slowly now. Age has caught up with the old Jedi Master, his hair completely white, his movements stiff, but his mind is still sharp, his presence in the Force still strong. "Feeling nostalgic?" he asks, settling into a chair with a grunt. "Always," Anakin replies. "You should be proud, Obi-Wan. Everything we built here, it wouldn't have been possible without you. I think you're giving me too much credit, but I'll accept the compliment." The three of them sit in comfortable silence, watching the younglings train. "This is what the Jedi should have been," Obi-Wan says eventually. "Not monks in a tower, removed from the galaxy, but people living in it, connected to it, learning from it. Better late than never." Anakin agrees. Across the courtyard, Luke senses his father's gaze and looks up. He waves, a smile on his face. Beside him, Leia does the same. Their children run around them, playing and laughing. This is the future. The one Anakin fought for. The one he almost destroyed. The one he helped save. That night, as Anakin lies in bed beside Padmé, he thinks about the journey that brought them here, the choices he made, the darkness he faced, the love that saved him. In another timeline, another universe, things went very differently. In that world, he became Vader, became a monster, hunted his own children, served the Emperor for decades. In that world, Luke had to redeem him at the cost of almost everything, but not here. Here, he chose differently. Chose love over power. Chose family over the dark side. And it made all the difference. As he drifts off to sleep, Padmé's hand in his, he feels a presence in the Force, not threatening, not dark, just present. It's a reminder, a warning. The dark side isn't gone. It can never be truly destroyed, only kept in balance. There will always be those who seek power, who embrace hatred and fear. But there will also always be those who fight back, who choose love and hope and family. And as long as they exist, the galaxy has a chance. The next morning, Anakin wakes early. He walks through the academy, checking on the students, ensuring everything is running smoothly. In one training room, a young human boy practices alone, his movements frustrated and angry. Anakin recognizes the signs immediately. The boy is struggling with his emotions, with the anger inside him. Anakin steps into the room. Having trouble? The boy startles, then bows awkwardly. "Master Skywalker, I didn't hear you come in. That's because you're too focused on your anger. Tell me, what's bothering you?" I'm not good enough." The boy's voice cracks. "I see the others, how easily the Force comes to them. But for me, it's a struggle. Every day, it's a struggle. And it makes me angry, frustrated. And that makes it even harder." Anakin sits down, gesturing for the boy to join him. "Let me tell you a story. When I was your age, maybe younger, I was a slave on Tatooine. I had no control over my life, no freedom, and I was angry about it. So angry. That anger stayed with me even after I was freed, even after I became a Jedi, and eventually, it nearly destroyed me. What changed? I learned that anger isn't the enemy. It's what we do with it that matters. You can let it consume you, let it control you, or you can understand it, accept it, and channel it into something productive. But isn't anger of the dark side? The old Jedi thought so, but they were wrong about a lot of things. Emotion is part of being alive. It's part of being human, or Twi'lek, or any sentient being. What matters is balance. Feeling your emotions without letting them rule you. The boy considers this, his brow furrowed in thought. How do I do that? Practice, patience, and never giving up, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Anakin stands, offering his hand. "Come on, let's train together. I'll show you some techniques that helped me." The boy's face lights up. "Really? You'd train with me?" "Of course. That's what we're here for. Not to judge, not to condemn, but to teach and learn together." They spend the next hour training, Anakin guiding the boy through meditation techniques and basic forms. By the end, the boy is smiling, his earlier frustration replaced with determination. As Anakin leaves the training room, he feels a presence beside him. Qui-Gon's Force ghost has appeared, translucent and serene. "You've done well, Anakin," the old Jedi Master says. "Better than I ever imagined." "Master." Anakin bows his head respectfully. "I hope so. I'm trying to be the teacher you were to me. You've surpassed me, and Obi-Wan, and every Jedi who came before, because you learned what we couldn't. that love isn't weakness, it's strength. Thank you for everything. You gave me a chance when no one else would. And Obi-Wan never gave up on me, even when he should have. Now go. Your family is waiting. And Anakin, may the Force be with you, always. The ghost fades, leaving Anakin alone in the corridor. He takes a moment to center himself, then heads toward the family quarters. Inside, Padmé is preparing breakfast while Luke and Leia argue playfully about training techniques. Their children run around. Full of energy, Anakin stops in the doorway, taking in the scene. This is what he fought for. This moment, this peace, this family, and it was worth every sacrifice, every struggle, every moment of doubt. "Grandpa!" Young Ben Skywalker runs up to him, his blue eyes wide with excitement. "Will you tell us a story? About the Clone Wars? About when you and Grandma saved the galaxy?" "Maybe later." Anakin scoops the boy up, ruffling his hair. "Right now, it's time for breakfast." The family gathers around the table. There's laughter and conversation, the easy comfort of people who love each other. Outside, the academy bustles with activity. Students train, learn, grow. Across the galaxy, the New Republic works to heal the wounds left by the Empire. There are setbacks, challenges, but there's also hope. And in this moment, in this family, there is peace. Luke raises his glass to family, to the future, to second chances. The others raise their glasses in response to family. Anakin Skywalker, once the chosen one, once nearly lost to darkness, smiles. He chose love, he chose family, and he would make that choice again 1,000 times over. Because this, right here, is what the Force wanted all along. Not balance through destruction, but balance through love. Not power through domination, but strength through connection. The prophecy was fulfilled, but not the way anyone expected. The Chosen One didn't bring balance by destroying the Sith alone. He brought balance by choosing light over darkness, by choosing family over power, by showing the galaxy that there was another way. Years continue to pass. Anakin and Padmé grow old together, their love never fading. They watch their grandchildren become adults, start families of their own. The Skywalker line continues, each generation carrying the lessons of those who came before. Obi-Wan passes away peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by the family he helped save. His funeral is attended by thousands, Jedi and non-Jedi alike. He's remembered not just as a warrior, but as a teacher, a friend, a brother. Ahsoka takes over more of the Academy's operations, her experience and wisdom invaluable. She becomes a legend in her own right, the Jedi who walked away from the Order and found her own path. The New Republic continues to grow and evolve. There are challenges, always. Political disputes, criminal organizations, the occasional Imperial remnant trying to reclaim lost glory. But the galaxy faces these challenges together, united by the values the rebellion fought for. And through it all, the Skywalker family remains a symbol, not of perfection, but of redemption, of the power of choice, of the strength of love. One evening, many years after the Battle of Alderaan, Anakin stands alone on the Academy balcony. He's old now, his hair white, his movements slow. But his connection to the Force is as strong as ever. Padmé joins him, moving carefully. Her health has been declining, but she refuses to let it keep her down. "Beautiful night," she says, leaning against him. "The most beautiful, because I'm sharing it with you." They stand in silence, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, the galaxy continues to turn. Lives are being lived. Stories are being told. And the legacy of their choice continues to ripple outward. "Do you have any regrets?" Padmé asks. "Only one, that I didn't choose this path sooner, that I wasted so much time in darkness before finding the light. But you found it. That's what matters. And our children, our grandchildren, they'll carry that light forward long after we're gone. I know. And that's enough." Anakin pulls her close. More than enough. Months later, Padmé passes away peacefully, surrounded by her family. Luke and Leia hold her hands as she takes her last breath. Anakin, whispering words of love in her ear. The galaxy mourns. Padmé Amidala, former Queen of Naboo, former senator, founding member of the rebellion, mother and grandmother. Her legacy is inscribed in the very foundation of the new republic. Anakin feels her loss like a physical wound, but he doesn't fall to darkness, doesn't let grief consume him, because he knows she's not truly gone. She lives on in their children, their grandchildren, in every person who fights for freedom and justice. In the new republic, they helped build. He lives for another 5 years, spending his time teaching at the academy, playing with his great-grandchildren, and preparing for the day he'll rejoin Padmé in the Force. That day comes quietly, peacefully. Anakin simply doesn't wake up one morning, passing in his sleep with a smile on his face. Luke and Leia are devastated, but they understand. Their father lived a full life. He made mistakes, terrible ones, but he also made the right choice when it mattered most. And that choice saved the galaxy. The funeral is the largest the New Republic has ever seen. Beings from across the galaxy come to pay their respects. Jedi and politicians, soldiers and civilians, all united in honoring the man who could have been the galaxy's greatest villain, but chose to be its unlikely hero. Luke gives the eulogy, his voice steady despite his grief. "My father was not a perfect man. He made mistakes. He fell to darkness. He did things he regretted until his dying day. But he also made the most important choice of his life. He chose love. He chose family. He chose to come back from the brink. And in doing so, he showed us all that it's never too late. That redemption is always possible. That love is stronger than hate." Leia adds her own words, tears streaming down her face. "Our father taught us that the Force isn't about power. It's about connection, about understanding, about balance. He taught us that emotions aren't weakness, but strength when guided by love. And he taught us that family is the most important thing in the galaxy." The funeral pyre is lit at sunset. As Anakin's body burns, his presence in the Force intensifies. Then, to everyone's amazement, 3 Force ghosts appear. Anakin stands between Obi-Wan and Padmé, all 3 of them smiling. They're together again, eternal, united in the Force. Luke and Leia can feel them, their presence a warm comfort. Their parents aren't truly gone. They're always there, watching, guiding, loving. Life continues at the academy. Luke and Leia continue teaching, passing on their father's lessons to the next generation. The Skywalker line continues to produce Force-sensitive individuals, each one trained in balance, in love, in connection. The New Republic faces new challenges as decades pass. There are always threats, always dangers, but they face them together, stronger for the lessons learned from the Empire's fall. And always, the memory of Anakin Skywalker serves as a reminder, a warning, and an inspiration. He fell, but he also rose. He made terrible choices, but he also made the right one. He could have been a monster. Instead, he became a hero, not because of power, not because of destiny, but because of love. Generations pass. The galaxy changes. The New Republic evolves into something even better. The Force Academy grows into a network of schools across thousands of worlds. And the story of Anakin Skywalker, the man who almost became Darth Vader but chose another path, is told and retold. A legend, a lesson, a hope that it's never too late to make the right choice. That love is stronger than fear, that family is worth fighting for, and that balance, true balance, comes not from suppressing emotions or embracing darkness, but from understanding both and choosing light. In a small classroom on Alderaan, centuries after the events of this story, a teacher tells the tale to a group of young students. And that, children, is why we celebrate Redemption Day. To honor Anakin Skywalker, the man who chose love over power, who chose family over darkness, who showed the galaxy that we all have the power to choose who we become. One student raises her hand. Teacher, do you think he was really the chosen one? The prophecy said he would bring balance to the Force. The teacher smiles. That's a question scholars have debated for centuries. But I believe he fulfilled it in his own way, not by destroying the Sith alone, but by showing that there's another path, by creating a family that would carry that lesson forward, by choosing balance in his own life. Another student asks, could it happen again? Could someone else fall to darkness like he almost did? Of course, the dark side is always there, always tempting, but so is the light. And as long as we remember the lessons of the past, as long as we choose love and connection over fear and isolation, we have a chance. The students file out, heading to their next lesson. The teacher stands alone in the classroom, looking at a hologram on the wall. It shows 5 figures, Anakin and Padmé, arms around each other, Luke and Leia flanking them, and Obi-Wan standing beside them, his hand on Anakin's shoulder, all of them smiling. The teacher whispers, "Thank you for showing us the way, for proving that it's never too late, for choosing love." The hologram flickers, and for just a moment, the figures seem to move, seem to smile just a little wider, as if they can hear, as if they're still watching over the galaxy they saved. And perhaps they are. Perhaps, in the Force, they always will be. Watching, guiding, loving, a family eternal, united in the light. On the bridge of the Executor, the crew feels their master's death through the command structure that connected them all to his will. The officers who were force-sensitive clutch their heads, feeling the Emperor's final scream echo in their minds. Others simply freeze, their orders dying on their lips as they realize the unthinkable has happened. Their Emperor, their absolute ruler, the man they believed to be invincible, is dead. Confusion ripples through their ranks like a virus. The Grand Admiral turns to his second-in-command, his face pale. "What are your orders, sir?" The second asks, his voice trembling. The Admiral has no answer. His entire career, his entire life, has been built around following Palpatine's commands. Without those commands, he's adrift, lost. Orders go unanswered. The command structure, so rigid and dependent on absolute authority, collapses like a house of cards. Junior officers look to senior officers for guidance. Senior officers look to admirals. Admirals look to the empty chair where Palpatine sat moments before and find nothing. Across the Imperial fleet, the same thing happens. Some captains, sensing their chance, immediately order retreat. Their ships peel away from the battle, jumping to hyperspace before anyone can stop them. Others try to maintain the attack, but lack the coordination that Palpatine's will provided. They fire at random targets, their formations breaking apart. A few, sensing opportunity in the chaos, turn on each other. Old rivalries and grudges, suppressed under Palpatine's iron rule, suddenly resurface. The Star Destroyer Chimera fires on the Devastator over a dispute about seniority. The Devastator returns fire. Within minutes, both ships are crippled, their crews evacuating in life pods. The Rebel fleet, smaller and outgunned but united in purpose, seizes the moment. Anakin's voice crackles across all Rebel channels, broadcast from the throne room of the Executor itself. "All Rebel forces, this is General Skywalker. The Emperor is dead. I repeat, Emperor Palpatine is dead. Press the attack. Show them that tyranny has no place in this galaxy." The Rebel ships surge forward with renewed energy. Their crews, exhausted and battered moments before, find new strength, new hope. They press the attack against the confused Imperial fleet, targeting the ships that still try to fight. One Star Destroyer goes down, its shields failing under concentrated fire, its hull breaches, atmosphere venting into space. Then another falls, this one self-destructing when its reactor goes critical. The explosion takes two nearby Imperial frigates with it. The tide of battle shifts dramatically. What was an Imperial rout becoming a Rebel victory? The impossible made real. On Alderaan's surface, the stormtroopers feel the change too. They're not force-sensitive, but they're connected to the command network. When that network fails, when the orders stop coming, they falter. Their advance, so relentless moments before, simply stops. Troopers stand in place, uncertain. Some drop their weapons and raise their hands in surrender, no longer willing to die for a dead emperor. Others flee to their landing craft, desperate to escape before the tide turns completely. A few, the true believers, fight on, but they're isolated now, cut off from support and surrounded by enemies. The Jedi regroup in the streets of Aldera, exhausted but victorious. Obi-Wan, still recovering from Palpatine's lightning attack, leans heavily against a wall. Beside him, Ahsoka tends to a wounded Padawan, her white blades deactivated and secured. Quinlan Vos coordinates with Rebel soldiers, directing them to secure key positions before the Imperials can regroup. Padmé stands on the command center balcony, watching the Imperial retreat through electro-binoculars. The landing craft are fleeing, their holds full of panicked stormtroopers. Star destroyers are jumping to hyperspace, their formations broken. It's a rout, a complete and total collapse. Beside her, Mon Mothma and Bail Organa embrace, tears streaming down their faces. We did it. Bail's voice is choked with emotion, barely able to speak. We actually did it. Against all odds, against the entire might of the Empire, we won. It's not over yet. Padmé's pragmatism reasserts itself even in this moment of victory. The Empire still exists. There are admirals and warlords across the galaxy who'll try to maintain control. Moffs who built their own power bases. Systems that are still occupied. But the Emperor is dead. The symbol of their power is gone. Mon Mothma wipes her eyes, her voice steadying, and that changes everything. Without Palpatine, the Empire is just machinery. And machinery breaks down without someone to maintain it. In the throne room of the Executor, the Skywalker family stands together amidst the ruins. Bodies of fallen Jedi lie around them, their sacrifices ensuring this victory. The walls are scorched, the floor cracked and broken. Palpatine's body lies in the center, a testament to the power of family over tyranny. Anakin deactivates his lightsaber, the blue blade disappearing with a snap hiss. He suddenly feels every year of his age, every wound, every moment of exhaustion. His legs nearly give out. But Luke and Leia are there, their arms wrapping around their father, supporting him. "Are you okay?" Leia asks, her voice muffled against his chest, filled with concern. "I'm fine." He holds them close, one arm around each child. "We're all fine." And it's over. Finally, after all these years, it's over. Obi-Wan approaches slowly, limping from his injuries. He's covered in burns from the lightning, his robes tattered and smoking, but he's alive. Leaning heavily on his lightsaber like a cane, he manages a tired smile. "Not quite over yet. We need to secure this ship. Make sure there are no more surprises waiting for us. Imperial officers might try to scuttle it rather than let it fall into our hands." Agreed. But first, Anakin looks around at the Jedi who survived, meeting each one's eyes. At Obi-Wan, who never gave up on him even when he should have. At Ahsoka, who returned despite everything that happened. At his children, who fought beside him without hesitation. Thank you, all of you. Without you, without your sacrifice, none of this would have been possible. We couldn't have won alone. We're family. Ahsoka says simply, her montrals tilting slightly as she speaks. That's what family does. We stand together. We fight together. We win or lose together. And today, we won. The Executor is secured within hours through methodical sweeps of every deck. The remaining crew, seeing that resistance is futile with the Emperor dead, surrenders without a fight. Some do it gladly, relieved to be free of Palpatine's tyranny. Others do it resentfully, already plotting revenge. But most just seem tired, exhausted by years of war and oppression. The ship becomes the flagship of the rebel fleet, a symbol of their victory. The Emperor's own vessel, taken and turned against everything he built. But the battle, while won, reveals the true scope of the challenge ahead. Across the galaxy, Imperial forces react differently to Palpatine's death. Some surrender immediately. Others refuse to accept it as truth. Many more simply go independent, carving out their own territories. The Empire, so monolithic and unified under Palpatine's will, fractures into dozens of competing factions. Warlords declare themselves the true heirs to the Empire. Grand Admirals establish their own domains. Moffs refuse to relinquish the power they've accumulated. The galaxy descends into chaos as the power vacuum left by Palpatine's death creates a feeding frenzy. But the rebellion is ready, more prepared than they would have been in any other timeline. With Anakin Skywalker leading the military efforts and Mon Mothma coordinating the political front, they begin the long, difficult work of restoring order. It's not quick, it's not easy, but they're committed to seeing it through. System by system, they liberate worlds under Imperial control. Planet by planet, they build the foundation for something new. Anakin proves to be a brilliant military commander, his experience from the Clone Wars invaluable. He knows how to fight a galactic war, how to coordinate fleets across multiple sectors, how to turn defeats into victories through clever tactics. But more than that, he knows how to inspire. His reputation as the hero with no fear, combined with the truth of his near fall and redemption, makes him a powerful symbol. He's proof that anyone can change, that darkness can be overcome, that there's always hope. Luke and Leia prove instrumental in these early campaigns. Now 15 years old, they're young but incredibly capable. They lead strike teams to liberate worlds, their force abilities and combat skills making them legends in their own right. Stories spread of the Skywalker twins, the children who helped kill the Emperor, who fight like demons, but show mercy to those who surrender. But more than their combat prowess, they become symbols of hope in a different way. They represent the next generation, the possibility of a better future. They're proof that the galaxy can heal, can move beyond the darkness of the Empire. On Kashyyyk, Luke leads a team to free Wookiee prisoners from an Imperial labor camp. The fight is brutal, the Imperial commander refusing to surrender. But Luke shows mercy even in victory, offering medical aid to wounded Imperials after the battle. On Ryloth, Leia negotiates the surrender of an Imperial garrison, convincing the commander that his cause is lost and further resistance will only lead to needless death. Her diplomatic skills, learned from her mother, prove as valuable as her lightsaber. Months turn into a year, then 2. The fighting continues, but gradually, inexorably, the Empire crumbles. Without Palpatine's leadership, without the Sith's dark influence holding it together, it collapses under its own weight. The brutality and oppression that sustained it become liabilities. Worlds rebel. Officers defect. The machinery of tyranny breaks down. 3 years after the Battle of Alderaan, the last major Imperial stronghold falls. Grand Admiral Thrawn, perhaps the most brilliant of the Imperial commanders, negotiates a conditional surrender. His forces will stand down if granted amnesty for the rank and file. Only those guilty of war crimes will face trial. It's a controversial decision. Many in the rebellion want total victory, want to punish everyone who served the Empire. But Anakin and Mon Mothma understand that revenge will only perpetuate the cycle. The galaxy needs healing, not more bloodshed. The surrender is accepted. 5 years after the Battle of Alderaan, The new republic is officially established in a ceremony on Coruscant. The old Senate building, abandoned and deteriorating under Imperial rule, is restored and reopened. Representatives from across the galaxy gather, not the corrupt politicians of the old republic, but new faces, people chosen by their worlds for merit and integrity, not wealth and influence. Mon Mothma becomes the first chancellor, elected unanimously by the new Senate. In her acceptance speech, she speaks of the long road ahead, the challenges they'll face, the work required to heal the galaxy's wounds. But she also speaks of hope, of the possibility of a better future, of learning from past mistakes. Bail Organa oversees the reformation of the legislative process, ensuring checks and balances to prevent another Palpatine from rising. The executive powers of the Chancellor are limited. The Senate's authority is expanded but also distributed. No single person will ever again have the power Palpatine wielded. Padmé serves as Mon Mothma's chief advisor, her experience and wisdom invaluable in shaping the new government. She works tirelessly to ensure the new republic learns from the old republic's failures. Corruption is rooted out systematically. Transparency becomes the foundation of governance. The people's voices are heard and respected. And Anakin? He steps away from military command once the fighting truly ends. He's fought enough wars for one lifetime, seen enough death, lost enough friends. The galaxy has new heroes now, younger ones, ready to protect the peace they've won. It's time for him to do something different. Together with Obi-Wan, they establish a new Force Academy on Alderaan, built on the grounds where the Battle of Alderaan was fought. It's not a Jedi temple bound by rigid dogma and ancient rules, but a place where Force users can learn balance, where emotion isn't suppressed but understood and channeled, where attachments aren't forbidden but celebrated as sources of strength, where the mistakes of the past can be studied, learned from, and avoided. Luke and Leia are the first instructors despite their youth. At 18 years old, they've seen more combat and faced more darkness than most Jedi saw in their entire lives. But they've also learned the value of love, of family, of connection. They teach what their father taught them, what he learned through painful experience. Balance, not the cold detachment of the old Jedi Order that led to their downfall, not the consuming passion of the Sith that destroyed everything it touched, but something in between, something sustainable, something human. Students come from across the galaxy, drawn by the promise of a different path. Jedi survivors who've been in hiding for years, grateful for a place to belong again, to practice openly without fear. Force-sensitive children discovered on distant worlds, their abilities manifesting in ways their families can't understand. Even some former Inquisitors who wish to atone for their past, seeking redemption and a chance to be more than weapons. The Academy grows quickly, almost explosively. Within the first year, there are over 50 students. Within 2 years, over 100. Within 5, over 300. A new generation of Force users, trained not in the ways of the old Jedi or the corrupting teachings of the Sith, but in something new, something better, something that might actually last. The curriculum is revolutionary compared to the old Jedi training. Students learn combat, yes, lightsaber forms and Force techniques, but they also learn philosophy, ethics, history. They study the fall of the Jedi Order to understand what went wrong. They examine the rise of the Sith to recognize the warning signs. They learn about different Force traditions from across the galaxy, understanding that the Jedi way was never the only way. Most importantly, they learn emotional intelligence, how to recognize and process their feelings, how to form healthy attachments without becoming possessive, how to love without fear, how to be human or alien or droid, and still be strong in the Force. One evening, Anakin and Padmé stand together on a balcony overlooking the Academy grounds, watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant colors. Below, Luke and Leia are training a group of younglings, their laughter echoing through the courtyard. The children practice with training sabers, their movements clumsy but enthusiastic, full of the joy that should accompany learning. Luke demonstrates a kata, his movements fluid and precise, years of training evident in every motion. He's patient with the students, correcting form gently, encouraging rather than criticizing. Leia guides a young Twi'lek girl through a meditation exercise, her voice soft and reassuring, helping the child feel her connection to the Force without fear or pressure. "We did it," Padmé says softly, leaning against her husband, her head resting on his shoulder. "We raised them right. They're everything we hoped they'd be. They're going to change the galaxy in ways we never could." Anakin wraps an arm around her, pulling her close, feeling the warmth of her presence. They already have. They killed an emperor, helped establish a republic, built an academy that'll train Force users for generations. And you know what the best part is? Padmé looks up at him, her eyes reflecting the sunset, smiling. "What?" "We get to watch. We get to be here for all of it. No more hiding from the Empire. No more running from Palpatine's hunters. No more wars to fight. Just us. Just family. Just life." As the twin suns set over Alderaan, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, the Skywalker family stands together in a moment of perfect peace. But peace, as they've learned, is not the absence of challenges. It's the presence of people willing to face those challenges together. And the galaxy still has plenty of challenges ahead. Years continue to pass, marked not by wars, but by growth. The Academy expands, adding new buildings and training facilities. Luke and Leia mature into their roles as teachers and leaders, their initial awkwardness giving way to confidence and wisdom. Luke eventually marries Mara Jade, a former Emperor's hand who defected after Palpatine's death. She was one of his closest agents, trained from childhood to be a perfect assassin. But without the Emperor's influence, she chose a different path. She sought out the Academy, looking for redemption for the things she'd done in Palpatine's name. Luke saw past her history to the person she could become. Their courtship was slow and careful, built on mutual respect and understanding. When they finally married, it was a small ceremony with family and close friends. They have a son 3 years later, naming him Ben, after Obi-Wan Kenobi, the man who helped save Luke's father, and, by extension, the galaxy. Leia marries Han Solo, the smuggler-turned-rebel hero who helped break the Imperial blockade of Corellia during the wars. He's rough around the edges, cocky and irreverent, but he has a good heart beneath the bravado. More importantly, he makes Leia laugh in a way nothing else does. They have twins of their own, Jason and Jaina, continuing the Skywalker tradition of twins. Later, they have a third child, a son named Anakin, in honor of his grandfather. The younger Anakin grows up hearing stories of the man he's named after, learning both the triumphs and the mistakes. The Academy flourishes beyond anyone's expectations. Students graduate and spread across the galaxy, not as Jedi enforcing the Republic's will, but as guardians and teachers. They establish smaller academies on other worlds, spreading the philosophy of balance. Some become peacekeepers, mediating disputes and protecting the innocent. Others become scholars, studying the Force and its mysteries. Some simply return to their homes, using their abilities to help their communities in small but meaningful ways. The New Republic grows stronger with each passing year. The government, Mon Mothma, and Bail Organa built proves resilient and adaptable. There are challenges, always. Corruption attempts to creep back in. Special interests lobby for unfair advantages. Systems argue over resources and representation, but the foundations are strong. The checks and balances work. The transparency keeps officials accountable. And the people, having lived through the Empire's tyranny, remain vigilant. They've learned that freedom requires constant effort and eternal watchfulness. 10 years after the Battle of Alderaan, Obi-Wan Kenobi passes away peacefully in his sleep at the Academy, surrounded by the family he helped save. He's old now, his body finally giving out after a lifetime of service, but he dies with a smile on his face, content in the knowledge that he fulfilled his duty. His funeral is attended by thousands. Jedi and non-Jedi alike come to pay their respects. Former rebels who fought under his command, senators whose lives he saved, students he trained, all united in honoring the man who never gave up, even when giving up would have been easier. Luke gives the eulogy, his voice steady despite his grief. Master Kenobi was more than a teacher. He was a brother to my father, an uncle to Leia and me, a friend to everyone who knew him. He taught us that true strength comes not from power, but from compassion. That wisdom is knowing when to fight and when to show mercy. That hope, even in the darkest times, is never truly lost. Leia adds her own words, tears streaming down her face. He saved our father, which means he saved us. He saved the galaxy, not through grand gestures or displays of power, but through quiet persistence, through never giving up on the people he loved, through believing in redemption when others saw only darkness. Obi-Wan's body is cremated in a traditional Jedi ceremony. As the flames consume his physical form, his presence in the Force intensifies for just a moment. Then he appears as a Force ghost, translucent and serene, standing beside Qui-Gon Jinn. The two old friends smile at each other, reunited at last. Anakin, standing with his family, feels a surge of emotion, seeing his old master one last time. "Thank you," he says quietly, knowing Obi-Wan can hear him, "for everything, for never giving up on me. Always." Obi-Wan's voice echoes in his mind. "You were my brother, Anakin." And brothers never give up on each other. Then the ghosts fade, leaving only memories and lessons behind. Life continues at the Academy with renewed purpose after Obi-Wan's death. His teachings, his philosophy, his approach to the Force, all become core parts of the curriculum. Ahsoka takes over more of the administrative duties, her experience and wisdom invaluable. She becomes a legend in her own right, the Jedi who walked away from the Order and found her own path, who proved that you don't need a title or organization to make a difference. The New Republic continues to grow and evolve, facing challenges that test its foundations. There are terrorist attacks by Imperial loyalists who refuse to accept defeat. Pirate organizations take advantage of the power vacuum in the Outer Rim. Corporate interests attempt to buy influence in the Senate. But each challenge is met and overcome, the Republic growing stronger through adversity. 15 years after the Battle of Alderaan, a crisis emerges that threatens everything they've built. A new threat appears in the unknown regions, beyond the edges of known space. Reports come in of entire star systems going dark, communications ceasing abruptly. Scout ships sent to investigate never return. Fear begins to spread. Is this a remnant of the Empire, reorganized and striking back? Some new threat entirely? The New Republic dispatches a fleet to investigate, led by Admiral Akbar. They discover the truth. It's neither Imperial remnants nor a new enemy. It's an ancient threat, something that predates the Republic itself. A species called the Yuuzhan Vong, extragalactic invaders whose technology is biological rather than mechanical, making them invisible to most sensors. The Yuuzhan Vong are warriors, driven by religious fervor to conquer and reshape the galaxy in their image. They're also completely cut off from the Force, creating a void that's disturbing to Force sensitives. The initial encounters are disasters. The New Republic fleet is unprepared for an enemy that fights so differently, that uses living ships and bioweapons. They're forced to retreat, regrouping to develop new strategies. Anakin, now in his late 50s, is called out of retirement to help coordinate the defense. He's reluctant at first, having spent years building peace rather than fighting wars. But when Luke and Leia volunteer to lead the military response, he can't let them face this threat alone. The war against the Yuuzhan Vong lasts 3 years and tests the New Republic like nothing since the Empire. It's brutal and costly, with millions of casualties. Entire worlds are conquered and transformed beyond recognition. But it also proves what they've built. The New Republic doesn't fracture under pressure like the Old Republic did. The Force users trained at the Academy don't fall to darkness or fail in their duty. The bonds of family and friendship forged over decades hold strong. Luke and Leia lead from the front, their combined abilities making them formidable opponents. They coordinate both military strikes and diplomatic outreach, discovering that not all Yuuzhan Vong support the invasion. Some are heretics, outcasts from their society who see the futility of their endless war. Working with these heretics, the New Republic finds a way to end the conflict without total annihilation. A peace treaty is negotiated, mediated by Leia's diplomatic skills, and enforced by Luke's military victories. The Yuuzhan Vong are given a home world in the unknown regions, far from populated space, in exchange for ending their invasion. It's not a perfect solution. Many in the Republic want vengeance. Many Yuuzhan Vong see the peace as betrayal. But it's a solution that prevents further bloodshed, that offers hope for eventual reconciliation. And that's become the New Republic's greatest strength. The willingness to find solutions beyond violence. 20 years after the Battle of Alderaan, Anakin finally allows himself to truly rest. The Yuuzhan Vong threat is ended. The galaxy is at peace. His children are accomplished leaders and teachers. His grandchildren are growing into their own strengths. He's done enough, more than enough. He spends his days at the academy, teaching when inspiration strikes, but mostly just being present, playing with his grandchildren, talking with students, meditating in the gardens Padmé tends, living a life he never thought he'd have. One evening, many years after all these events, Anakin stands alone on the academy balcony, where he stood so many times before. He's old now, his hair completely white, his movements slow and careful. But his connection to the Force is as strong as ever, perhaps stronger for all he's experienced. Padmé joins him, moving carefully. Her health has been declining over the past year, and they both know time is running short. But she refuses to let it keep her down. Living each day fully. Beautiful night, she says, leaning against him, her hand finding his instinctively, like so many we've shared. Every night is beautiful when I'm sharing it with you. Anakin wraps his arm around her, supporting her weight. We've had a good life, haven't we? Despite everything, despite all the darkness and pain and mistakes, we've had a good life. The best life, she agrees, her voice soft. We raised wonderful children, saw our grandchildren grow, built something that'll last long after we're gone, changed the galaxy for the better. What more could anyone ask for? They stand in silence, watching the stars emerge as darkness falls. Somewhere out there, the galaxy continues its endless turning. Lives are being lived, stories are being told, and the legacy of their choices continues to ripple outward, touching billions of lives they'll never know about. Do you have any regrets? Padmé asks quietly, the question they've both been dancing around. After all this time, after everything we've been through, is there anything you wish you'd done differently? Only one, Anakin admits, his voice heavy with old pain. That I didn't choose this path sooner. That I wasted so much time in darkness, so many years in fear, before finding the light. All those people I hurt, the younglings I killed, the Jedi I betrayed. Those scars will never fully heal. But you found your way back. Padmé turns to face him, her hand cupping his cheek. That's what matters. You made the right choice when it counted most. And our children, our grandchildren, everyone we've helped, they're proof that redemption is always possible, that it's never too late to choose love over hate, light over darkness. I know, and I'm grateful for every day we've had since Mustafar. Every moment with you and the children. It's more than I deserved, more than I ever hoped for. You deserved happiness, Anakin. We all do. That's one of the most important lessons we've learned. The Force doesn't demand suffering or sacrifice. It wants us to be whole, to be happy, to live fully. The Jedi forgot that. They became so focused on duty and detachment that they forgot to live. They fall silent again, content in each other's presence. Years of marriage have taught them that not everything needs words. Sometimes presence is enough. 3 months later, Padmé passes away peacefully in her sleep, surrounded by her family. Luke and Leia hold her hands as she takes her last breath, Anakin whispering words of love in her ear, reminding her of all the years they shared. The galaxy mourns her loss. Padmé Amidala, former Queen of Naboo, former senator, founding member of the rebellion, architect of the New Republic's constitution, mother and grandmother and great-grandmother. Her legacy is inscribed in the very foundation of everything they've built. Her funeral is held on Naboo, her body returned to her homeworld one final time. Thousands attend, representatives from every world in the New Republic. They speak of her courage, her wisdom, her unwavering commitment to justice and freedom. Anakin stands through it all, his face composed, but his heart breaking. He feels her loss like a physical wound, a part of himself torn away. But he doesn't fall to darkness, doesn't let grief consume him, because he knows she's not truly gone. She lives on in their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, in every person who fights for freedom and justice. In the New Republic they helped build together, in every act of compassion and mercy across the galaxy. She's everywhere, always. He lives for another 5 years after her death, spending his time at the academy and with family. He becomes a figure of legend, the ancient master who survived the Empire and helped build the New Republic. Students come from across the galaxy just to meet him, to hear his stories, to learn from his experiences. He teaches when he has the energy, sharing lessons hard-won through decades of mistakes and growth. But mostly, he prepares. He can feel his time coming to an end, his body failing slowly, but inevitably, and he's ready. He's made his peace with the galaxy, with the Force, with himself. He's lived a full life, far longer and better than he ever expected. One morning, 5 years after Padmé's death, Anakin Skywalker simply doesn't wake up. He passes peacefully in his sleep, a smile on his face, rejoining his wife in the Force. Luke finds him first, immediately sensing the change. His father's body is still empty, but his presence in the Force is stronger than ever before, free of physical limitations. The funeral is the largest the New Republic has ever seen, even larger than Padmé's. Beings from across the galaxy come to pay their respects to the man who could have been the galaxy's greatest villain but chose to be its unlikely hero. Former rebels who fought under his command, politicians whose careers he enabled, Jedi he trained, people whose lives he saved, directly or indirectly, all united in honoring his memory. Luke gives the eulogy, standing before billions watching across the galaxy. His voice is steady despite his grief, years of teaching giving him the composure he needs. My father was not a perfect man. He made mistakes, terrible mistakes that he regretted until his dying day. He fell to darkness and came within inches of becoming everything he hated. But he also made the most important choice of his life. When given the chance to embrace power or embrace love, he chose love. He chose family. He chose to come back from the brink. And in doing so, he showed us all that it's never too late, that redemption is always possible, that love is stronger than hate, that light can always push back darkness. Leia adds her own words, her political experience helping her find the right message. Our Father taught us that the Force isn't about power or control. It's about connection, about understanding, about balance between all things. He taught us that emotions aren't weakness, but strength, when guided by compassion. And he taught us that family, in all its forms, is the most important thing in the galaxy. Not biological family necessarily, but the family we choose, the people we stand with, fight for, and love unconditionally. The funeral pyre is lit at sunset, the flames consuming Anakin's physical form as thousands watch in respectful silence. As his body burns, his presence in the Force intensifies dramatically. Then, to everyone's amazement, 3 Force ghosts appear, visible to everyone regardless of Force sensitivity. Anakin stands between Obi-Wan and Padmé, all 3 of them smiling peacefully. They're together again, reunited in death as they were in life. Eternal, united in the Force, beyond time and space. Beside them, other ghosts appear. Qui-Gon Jinn, his long hair flowing in an invisible wind. Yoda, his ears perked with satisfaction. Mace Windu, his stern expression softened. All the Jedi who died fighting the Empire, all gathered to welcome one of their own home. Luke and Leia can feel their parents' presence, a warm comfort wrapping around them like a blanket. They're not crying anymore. How can they cry when they can feel their parents' love so clearly, so tangibly? Their mother and father aren't gone. They're right there, watching, guiding, loving, always and forever. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.